started. Right. So So how are you, Rusty?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very bogged down with coursework right now, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining. Um, Thanks for giving us your time. Hopefully, we won't keep you too long. So
No problem. I'm really happy to be here.
awesome. Um, I suppose we'll get straight to it. So, can you tell us a little? So, obviously, the reason why I wanted to have someone from Trans Kids Deserve Better on is
Mhm.
primarily because of the recent fuckery that is going on with the Labour government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Obviously, not with them not wanting to release the report on trans child's death. So, can you explain your your stance on where you? Yeah, I just want to hear what your stances are on them not releasing the report.
Last month, I think the 11th of May, we did an action where we left bloody handprints on the NHS England HQ in Waterloo on Waterloo Road, and someone wrote in red face paint, "Release the trans youth suicide report." And to me, it's really emblematic of the government's continual neglect of trans kids, and then continually covering up our deaths to essentially, cover their own asses and avoid responsibility and accountability for what they know they've done, because they feel ashamed and they don't want to engage meaningfully with community and actually reverse the mistakes they've done. So they get defensive and try and cover up.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they try and cover it up because, I mean, let's face it, if they actually release the statistics, I think there would be hell to pay.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're stopping trans kids getting the help that they need for their journey, and they're like, nope, that's it. But then it's like, oh yeah, that's fine. We've stopped it. We don't care about if you kill yourself. It's like, hang on a minute. There's a cause and effect here. You've caused this. This is now affecting them.
Yeah. Well, they have tried really hard, or they are continually trying really hard to suck up to this anti-trans lobby, essentially. That is, it's well funded. I mean, we've got J.K. Rowling involved with it. It's, by these people, is run by people with a lot of fame and a lot of privilege, and quite often kind of grifters like Posey Parker, who are in it for the fame that they can get out of it. And they gather a fan base by being loud and brash and kind of outrageous in a way. And that they're a minority, but they're a loud minority, and that's the difficulty. We don't have enough people most people who are supportive of, or even just kind of indifferent to trans people, on going and saying, I'm not bothered by the existence of trans people, and that we should, it seems so weird to be like, this group deserves rights, but we do at this point just need people saying, hey, I'm a cis person, I'm an ally, I support the trans community, and actually drowning out the voice of this loud, well-funded, privileged minority.
Yeah. I mean, because the lovely Ava Brown wannabe, as I call her, Kelly J. Keating, she was in Nottingham in March with her Let Women Speak crap. And she chose to go outside of a police station, but they were doing roadworks. And it's like, why choose somewhere where nobody can hear? We were stood further down. We were just watching it from a distance. And they're like screeching fishwives to get their points across. They just scream and shout. Hang on a minute. If you went to the trans protest further down, yes, there was a megaphone, but that was so everybody could hear you. Nobody was screeching like a fishwife like they were to get the points across. It's like, as you said, Rusty, it's like they think because they're privileged and they've got money, they can do this, they can do that. Oh, look at me, I'm better than everyone. It's like, no, you're not. And it's just like, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they get a lot of the attention, like I said, that they get by being just quite dogmatic, by using a lot of dog whistles, by just being really outrageous, and it gathers them almost a sort of cult fan base.
And yet those who are allies or in the trans community wear the cult.
Like, yeah, that's their take on it, and it is bizarre if you hear the kind of things they say.
No, I know. I've got a local one around the corner from me. She's absolutely vile. And it's just like, it's got to be exhausting if that's what their whole personality is.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, I've seen them, we've got these turf rocks. We're going around national thingy parks to put I'm like, you really need to get out more. There's more to life than hating the 1% of the world that aren't going to harm you.
Yeah, for sure. I think the other big thing about them is that I had things to say and I forgot it. That's annoying. It was a good point as well. It'll come back to me.
Yes, it's like I'll just tag on to what Nerdy just said. It's like I myself, like earlier today, I got into a bit of I like to sometimes it depends. Like sometimes if I'm in a petty mood, or sometimes stir up things. So I got into a little like debate, if you can call it that, with a turf. And again, to Nerdy's point, they'll say, "Oh, you're in a cult." I was like falsely accused of being a groomer. Like,
I saw that.
Six times, or because trans kids exist and they deserve the care they need. And it's like, there's no point. And it's like to the point of Kelly J. Keane, aka the bargain basement man in Monroe, standing outside of a police station. That's all because she likes to portray that she's the victim.
And but this is also the same woman who believes women should stay in the kitchen and not work.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not in the 50s anymore, darling.
No, we're not. But it's like, yeah.
It's sorry, carry on, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, she's also anti-abortion rights, and I think it's a really important thing to mention, because the same people who, I mean, it's a bodily autonomy thing, right? She's against bodily autonomy and the fight for abortion rights and like bodily autonomy and like reproductive justice and the fight for trans rights are actually the same fight, which is why you find so many TERFs who are both against trans people medically transitioning and trans people existing and against reproductive rights.
I mean, it's like a lot of them, when they say they're all for the LGBT community, but the minute somebody from that community uses as surrogates, they're human trafficking.
There was an anti-surrogacy stall at the LGBT Alliance conference, yeah.
It's like, do you even know what human trafficking is? I'm just like, you're not right in the head if that's what you think it is. And it's just like, they want a family.
For sure.
And it's just a fucked up world. I mean, I dread my child's future because they're non-binary, and they were fine in their junior school, but they haven't come out to anyone other than those that already know at secondary school because they're worried about what kids are going to say. It's like, dude, your school is the most inclusive school ever. But I think because they're still in year 7, it's still that trepidatious. It's still that scary first year for them. So I think the more they get settled in, the more they'll be comfortable to come out and be themselves.
mean, yeah, an interesting point was made kind of to that end in an interview in December that someone from Trans Kids That Better did right after the blocker ban was made permanent, where he's trans. He has a trans brother who's 4 years younger than him and came out like a solid few years after him. And everything's been so much harder for his brother. So like socially transitioning in school, accessing medical transition. It's just in this really short space of time, everything's got, I'm going to misuse the word exponentially here, but like exponentially worse.
Yeah. It feels like we've gone backwards.
Yeah. We have, absolutely.
It's just like, at the end of the day, as I said earlier, it's like it's a 1% in the world. I feel I trust my children, everyone. I'd feel safer in men's or women's bathroom with trans people, non-binary people, gender fluid people than I would with a straight cis person.
Sure, yeah.
And it's with this whole toilet bullshit as well. It's like, oh, trans men have to go into the women's toilets. It's like, hang on a minute. What's to stop a cis man going into the toilets, raping or sexually assaulting someone and say, it's okay, I'm a trans man?
Yeah, well, so I think that the thing with anti-trans, so much of the like anti-trans dogma and kind of ideology is that most of it makes women less safe. Like if you try and put down another group in the guise of one group's safety, mark my words, it will make the group you're trying to protect less safe. And I think really transphobia is just another facet, or like trans misogyny especially, is just another facet in the control over women's bodies and the policing of women's bodies and what a woman can and should be. And I think that's really dangerous for all women. And it's why trans liberation is part of the struggle for gender liberation more generally.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, again, this might just be my opinion. And, it's like the recent, well, I say recent, but it's probably like, I think we are either 2 or 3 months removed from the UK Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah, 2 months.
But essentially, they have made it, it didn't stop cis men, not all cis men, but it didn't stop them from committing these sexual offences in the first place. But this has essentially made it even easier for them to bypass a law that they were already bypassing anyway, or because cis men who commit sexual assaults will do anything. They don't need to dress up.
Yeah.
And it's like,
look at the women that have been attacked since this has come out as well, just because they don't fit the modernization of what a woman should look like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes me scared for like not just, mainly like my trans femme friends, comrades, sisters, but yeah, women more broadly. I mean, it's now pretty acceptable to assault someone, harass someone just based on how they look, and that is a dangerous fucking precedent we're setting. And we need cis people to not be silent when they see it happening. And especially with we've been seeing more and more examples, I think mainly in train stations, of people being asked about their genitalia before going into the toilet. And again, we need cis people to not suck up to that and to say it doesn't matter, let me through. We need cis people to make it clear in those kinds of scenarios when they're being asked if they're trans, not to actually just say I'm cis, not to say not to say that, or to say yes, I am cis, but it wouldn't matter if I were trans. Or even not specify it, just say what's it matter to you, how's this affecting you. We need visible cis, like visible allyship from cis people, and that's more than just going to a couple marches or writing a letter to your MP who, if they're a Labour MP, is probably a fucking bootlicker anyway. And it's more than like donating to fundraisers. It's visibly showing up when we need it every time we need it.
I mean, this is it. I mean, I've got a Labour councillor for my area. I've never seen her in the whole time since she's been elected. The only Labour MP we have got who's a voice in Nottingham is Nadia Whitcomb.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the only one who's not afraid to stand up to them.
For sure, yeah.
And the amount of people that will call her names, it's like, hang on a minute. She's standing up. She is an ally. She's not afraid to go to the Houses of Parliament and say, this is what we need to do for our trans siblings.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's incredible. I saw her a few weeks ago. She spoke at the emergency demo for the Madeleine as well, for the ship that was abducted by Israeli forces. She's one of the few people standing up to just what the Labour Party are doing in general, which I really admire and appreciate from her.
And I do think it's a bit unfair because obviously I know every Pride in the UK have banned Labour from attending, which I understand because basically they fuck trans people over. I do feel it's a bit unfair on Nadia not to be allowed because of how much she's done for the community over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could say that, but I think, generally just it's a thing that systemically political parties have fucked over the trans community, and there are definitely good eggs in them, but like net overall, I understand why Pride organisers would want to prevent political parties taking part in Pride.
Yeah, it's just go on, Lily.
No, sorry, you carry on, Toren.
Like, it's just, like you say, there are good eggs in Labour. There are good eggs in the other party. It's just that the loud, tiny, very tiny but loud minority of certain individuals in Labour just happen to have a visceral reaction to anything to do with healthcare for trans kids, and they see it as a red flag. We can't give them puberty blockers or whatever the case may be. Yeah, funnily enough, for cis children, it's absolutely fine. And it's like, if you actually cared about children and their safety, you would actually do everything you can to protect all children.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're trans or not. Take away the trans part. If you care about children, then actually look at the data, because you have the data, but you're choosing not to do it. So what you're basically doing is you're basically unaliving these kids even before they even started on their journey.
Yeah.
That's why there's a massive uproar. And what I loved was half an hour after the quote-unquote win of the UK Supreme Court ruling, I think half an hour after, there was a protest where I think something like 25,000 people turned up to protest.
Yeah, so that was lowest estimates. Estimates were around 20,000 to 30,000 people. It was a couple of days after, so it was the Wednesday. Okay. The Wednesday, the ban.
Yeah.
Not the ban. Sorry, I was switching things. Wednesday, the 16th. I want to say had been the Supreme Court ruling. Maybe it wasn't the 16th, but the Wednesday had been the Supreme Court ruling. The Saturday was the march. It was originally going to be like a kind of protest picnic. We thought there was just a collaboration between Trans Kids Deserve Better and RS21. They're revolutionary socialists. They're great. Check them out. And we thought maybe there'd be a couple hundred people. And what ended up happening was we decided it would be a march. Loads and loads of organizations joined to make it happen. Lots of trade union backing, which is amazing. Trade unions are like such important allies when you're an activist, and always have been. And 20,000 to 30,000 people showed up. We completely filled out Parliament Square and marched to St James's Park. And it was a really incredible show of solidarity. And apparently, someone overheard a passerby saying, "I thought there was supposed to be a tiny minority," which says a lot. Which says a lot about the like solidarity and the community that was built around just our shared like rage in such a short period of time. And just touching back on the line about the Labour Party and the people in it, I think I try not to look at trans, as much as I'm a trans activist, I try not to look at trans issues through like a vacuum, because it's so interconnected with other issues. Like, it's not just trans kids who are being fucked over by Labour. It's kids who are refugees who are crossing over in small boats. It's kids in Gaza who are being bombed and starved. And that's because the Labour Party are trying to push themselves towards the right in order to prevent people voting reform. And instead what they're doing is nothing's actually improving for anyone, because they're, pushing people into poverty. They're not taxing the rich, which is what we need to support our public services. Workers' rights have been screwed over. And people are frustrated, and people are looking to reform for solutions because they feel the kind of centre-left, the centre has screwed them over, and they're actually being pushed really far right because of it. I was actually, a couple of days after the disability cuts were announced, I was online on a Disabled People Against Cuts open meeting, and they've mentioned that someone had gone to them and said that they all needed to vote reform, that Nigel Farage would sort their issues, and that's because of Labour's failures pushing people further right, essentially. And they're going to keep doing that unless Labour fix up drastically.
Yeah. Thing is, though, it's Starmer is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Let's face it, he's a Tory through and through.
Yeah.
And as you said, they need to tax the rich. Why? I don't understand why they keep punishing the working class, those on benefits, disabilities. People can't help being disabled.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got invisible disabilities. I've got one child with Tourette's, ADHD, and autism. I've got another child with autism. I know plenty of people with invisible disabilities that some aren't even going to be able to work because they rely on their PIP to get them to work, to survive. And it's like, if that's going to get cut, it's going backwards.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is, it's just there's so much hypocrisy currently from Keir Starmer. So, especially in terms of the right to protest. In, I think, 2009, he essentially did a groundbreaking defense for the Kingsnorth Six, I believe, who were activists from Greenpeace who had climbed a power station and occupied it. And he had gotten them, I believe, acquitted of, I'm not sure what kind of offence it would be, but he'd gotten them, I think, acquitted by arguing that they were doing it to prevent climate change, to prevent the harms the factory was causing. And now he's cracked down so hard on protests. So I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a crime and policing bill currently passing through Parliament.
Okay.
What it aims to do is various things, but that includes banning face coverings at protests, which is hugely concerning because a lot of us experience doxing from when we're counter-protesting, especially when you're counter-protesting fascists. It gets quite dangerous. And also the police's authoritarian use of facial recognition software that is not only problematic in terms of just privacy, but it's also racist. It has racial bias. So a lot of people want to use face coverings to protect themselves from that. So yeah, I mean, the Labour has lost its roots as a party of the working people. and Keir Starmer has completely lost the person he used to be and the beliefs he used to have as part of becoming the head of this party and as part of becoming Prime Minister.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, look at Jeremy Corbyn when he wanted to be Prime Minister, the amount of shit they gave him. And it's like, don't get me wrong, he's like a doddery old uncle that you have. Okay, he might not have got it perfect, but I think if they gave him a chance, you know, he could have at least tried to have rectified things that previous parties have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they said, oh, he's an IRA sympathiser, he's this, he's that, it's like, just because he had a meeting with them doesn't mean he sympathises with them.
For sure, yeah.
And it's like, it's the same with the, after Kate Nash has released the songs, I'm just referring to Turfs as germs. You know, it's one of those things, it's like, you scratch transphobe, you get a homophobe, you get a racist, you get a Zionist.
Yeah,
and it's just like, my local one, she wants to get anti-racism stuff out of schools.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh. And it's just like, this is it. It's like, every time, it's like, no hairdresser in our area will cut her hair after she harassed businesses.
Sure, yeah.
She's harassed shops. There was it was Trans Pride in Nottingham last weekend, and she thought she was big and clever by standing in the middle of Trans Pride with a sign. It's like, you are purposely trying to antagonise people.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, they ignored her. But she was even at the UKIP march. I'm like, that does not surprise me.
I mean, when you find transphobia, you'll find racism, you'll find xenophobia, you'll find anti-immigrant ideology and sentiment. What you find actually is that a lot of their dogma is the same. A lot of their dog whistles are the same. So obviously we have transphobes who go and say, look, they're groomers, they're coming for your children, yada da da da. And next week, actually, or no, this week on Saturday, Tommy Robinson and his minions are coming down to London to go on a march against immigrant grooming gangs. Like, notice how it's the same exact ideology. It's all centered around like the white child they're trying to protect in the middle of it. Actually, a lot of people talk about how transphobia is a pretty fucking colonial concept as well. And it just essentially, like, I mean, especially as an anarchist, my views on this is you can't defeat transphobia without also defeating colonialism and capitalism, and actually collectively throwing down these systems. Sorry, I'm getting called. I'll tell my parents I'm in the middle of a podcast episode. Middle of a podcast episode.
Oh, they're lovely.
Okay, back.
It's okay.
Trials and tribulations of being a youth activist, honestly. But yeah, there really is no liberation for some of us without liberation for all of us. It doesn't work like that.
I was going to say something and I can't remember what now.
Hey, same boat.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, it was going to be really good as well. And I'm like, nope, completely slid out my head. I'm just like, ah, crap. Oh, that was it. Is it? It's the wording. So going back, I think that would be better wording. Going back on what you were saying about Tommy Robinson and protecting the white child.
Yeah.
The amount of times you prove to his little minions and to the germs that statistically rapists and sexual predators are people you know.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's made up. No, here's the citations. Here's the proof.
Oh yeah.
And then when you ask them back, they can't do anything other than the bullshit slideshow that's been made by the germs. It's like, where's the citation? Where is the actual link where I can read that?
Oh yeah, they love their unproven bullshit theories.
Yeah.
And they love to say that like their truths and whatever are being silenced when like I mean, just to give an example, they have access to the most mainstream media platforms, right? And just to give an example, I think the night of the crickets being released at LGBT Alliance's conference, Bev Jackson, I think her name was, Bev Jackson, who was one of the people high up in LGBT Alliance, was on GBC News talking about it, like on this major platform. And yeah, they're trying to say they're being silenced. I mean, it's just such bullshit.
Definitely, they've got more rights than anyone else.
Whereas trans kids are better continually like struggles to get any mainstream media coverage. Like we've been going almost a year. I think we will have been going a year on Sunday, and we still haven't managed to get onto the BBC despite doing some like pretty high risk actions.
Yeah, I've seen the photos of you and your colleagues standing outside. You know, yeah. I mean, I very much. I mean, I would love to see you on BBC getting interviewed by these high profile media coverages, but my expectations of BBC is very low.
Yeah, sure.
Especially given their like lack of coverage over what's happening over
There is
Israel and
actually,
Gaza.
which shocks me. There's an author from Nottingham who's trans, and I can't remember her name, but her book was made into a TV show, which they're showing on BBC Three.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
I'll have to find it because it was like, oh my god, because it's got he was in Misfits. He's got a twin sister, something Sasha. They're from Derby, and it was just like when my other half told me about it, I'm like, oh my god, they're actually doing something trans on the BBC. Okay, it's BBC Three, but still, that's progress.
I mean, so what I will say about the press like take up of our actions is we've had so much really incredible press from smaller outlets within the community, and if let's say we're having no impact on the government, no impact on TERFs, which I don't think is true, but let's say we were, I do think that by our actions and because of our actions, the trans community as a whole does have more hope. And I hope it does, and hope is a fucking powerful thing. And if we're not doing anything else, I hope we're emboldening more people to action. And we have people a lot of the time saying they're inspired by us, and I'll keep saying this, like being inspired by us means nothing if you're not inspired to take action, and that means different things to different people. So not everyone can do direct action. Not everyone is in a position where they are able to deal with the police, especially if they work with children, for example, or whatnot. But people can do care, people can do admin. Whoever you are.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, Rusty. And this is what I say. Like, people like yourself, organizations like Trans Kids Deserve Better. Like, they're the ones that are putting their lives on the line. You're the one going out there, putting yourselves in harm and in danger to potential threats. And it's like, if you can't support solidarity for these people, then you have to seriously question, what do you stand for? What are your morals? If you can't stand up for these people in your own way, like you say, Rusty, you don't have to. If you aren't able to attend marches, attend pride events, at least show support and solidarity. At least speak up when you can.
Yeah.
Sure. But it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but it seems to me that when people like yourselves do a protest, which is seen by a vast amount of people, and it's it is televised, or at least noticed by the media whenever they choose to actually look. You get tons of you. If I could divide, you get like let's say 50% of the public will they'll stand up for you for what you're doing, but then you get like 50%, maybe add another 10-20% on top of that of negative assholes who just want to spew hate. So it depends. So again, so anyone that's watching this or have seen trans kids are better, in your area, just think: would you rather have these children again take away the trans part? Would you rather have these kids access to care they need, and like you would with any other cis kid, or do you want to be basically
responsible for them having themselves?
Yeah, responsible. Yeah, like which is it? You can't have both. You can't do a restricting saying I'm all for kids, but then take away their vital healthcare.
Yeah,
you can't. That's not going to work.
I mean, a big thing that we've always said is that we need. A lot of people are willing to lend trans kids solidarity when kids have already died, when they can go look at this tragedy, and when the transness of this is what one of my friends said, when our transness is no longer a threat to society, essentially, when we can just be kind of almost martyred, and that once you're standing up for trans kids and saying protect trans kids when they're already dead, it's too late. And people need to come up with reasons to, defend trans kids other than we could not be alive anymore. Like people essentially don't necessarily see us as like people don't humanize us. We're kind of this like Schrodinger's cat that could be dead or could be alive. And we don't get more of a representation than that. That's why when we did a die-in in November, we did it with coffins and with headstones that said, "Here lies this person who loved X thing," and just tried to humanize ourselves a little when the media and politicians won't, and trying, because I think as soon as we only stand up for trans kids after they've died, we kind of play into the media narrative and the narrative the state wants, because the state doesn't necessarily care that much. And they've shown it time and time again.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I just, as someone who, has gone through some stuff, having been abused as a kid, right? Because this is why sometimes I laugh. I laugh because it stops me from, completely erupting, at these people due to their stupidity. But it's like, as someone who was abused as a kid, right? And which, by the way, if they truly cared about kids, right, they could give children access to healthcare, right? They could spend this 390 million pound that they're spending on extending this motorway or something, on paying nurses, paying teachers more, rebuilding the NHS. They could do all of that and also improve social care, improve, domestic violence helplines and all of that with all of that money. but they don't.
That, it's also mental health services as well.
Yeah, mental health services, but it's not that. They don't want to deal. They don't want to deal with that. They would rather see the NHS fail and crumble, or because they want to focus on a tiny minority of a community because they see them as a danger. And you're right, Rusty. They see trans people, specifically trans kids, as non-human.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really funny because, again, as I always like to do, if you look back in history, look back at how they viewed black people, gay people, even.
Yeah.
It's the same thing regurgitated, and it's like all you need is common sense.
Yeah, which some people lack.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the way that trans kids are viewed, I think what's really good about trans kids is better is that we're kind of a threat to how trans kids are viewed because we're out here and we're doing things autonomously, and that is fucking terrifying. If people who think we're kind of just like brainwashed, kids. Like we had a early on the first and like transphobic piece of article we had about us was when we occupied Department for Education, and they called our press releases suspiciously well crafted because they just don't think we're capable. Like we write all of them, they just don't think we're capable of independent thought. And so we kind of, as a group, are completely defying their logic, and it's quite confusing for them, I think, actually.
Well, this is it. I mean, Phoenix was 10 when they came out to us as non-binary. And all they did at school was say, this is my new name, which their deputy helped choose their new name. And they just said, I go by they, them pronouns. And that is it. And me and their dad said, it might be a phase, it might not. They might decide when they're older they're gay or they're trans or they're gender fluid. It's fine, because at the end of the day, that's our child. We support them. And the amount of germs I've had say, you've brainwashed your child, you've indoctrinated them, you've groomed them. It's like, are you that thick that you don't realise children have got their own minds? I mean, they're 12 and they know all about their consent and body autonomy. If we want a hug or a kiss, we have to ask them.
Yeah.
And, that's fine because, that kid is so frigging smart, and the amount of conversations we can have with them as well about what's happening right now. And it's like people don't realise that children are a lot smarter than they think.
But sorry to interrupt, Rusty. It's like again, that's it. They infantilize kids because of their age, right? It's like they think. Not only do they think, they vehemently assume, and they assume wrong, that kids aren't able to make their own decisions. They can.
For sure.
Right? It's like with kids can't consent. Yes, they can. Obviously, yes, it's a case by case basis. Every kid is different, so that's why, per logic, but when they go down the path of gender affirming care, the first call is therapy, because it's to make sure that the kid is capable of understanding, right, and etc. Right. So of course it's a case by case basis, but to automatically assume that just because an 8-year-old is 8, that they don't have the intellectual capacity to understand. Yes, they do. They might not be able to verbalize it. They might not have the language, but to completely dismiss their experience that they're experiencing is fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything more to say on that. It's accurate. I think it's part of the struggle for bodily autonomy for trans youth is part of the wider struggle for youth autonomy that TKDB is kind of at a crossroads of. I think is another important debate to be or discussion to be had.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And it's just like But I feel my heart breaks for the kids who can't come out to their parents because they know their parents will reject them. It's like, hang on a minute. It's like with me, with my kids, I have people say to me, oh, you're an amazing mum for supporting your children. I'm like, but it's my job as a parent to support my child. If I don't support my children, I don't deserve to be their parent. And when you hear stories about trans kids being kicked out, or even drag queens or drag kings being kicked out because of who they are, it's like, hang on a minute, that's your child. You chose to have that child, so fucking support them. Just because they don't meet your typical heteronormative doesn't mean they're any less of a person.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. No, I would agree with that. I mean, it is, don't have kids if you can't support them being trans or being queer or being who they're going to be, and that includes that includes kids who are kind of chaotic, who might act out, but who deserve unconditional love and support. I mean, again, it comes back to the idea of youth autonomy and just treating people with respect and dignity, and saying, I mean, all of this comes down to dignity ultimately, doesn't it?
It is. I mean, it's like I took Phoenix to Pride. It wasn't, what year are we in now? 25. Took them to their first Pride in 23, and they loved it. And it got a little bit overwhelming for them, but it's like they did the full march. They went round, and people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't take your kid to Pride." It's like, but they wanted to go. Again, I'm not forcing my child to do anything. That kid's worse than me with their stubbornness. That if they don't want to do something, they won't do it. But if they do, I'm following your lead, mate. If you want to go to Pride, crack on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the whole kids at Pride kind of the whole argument around that, and it's kind of like the whole argument about drag queen story time, the completely appropriate story time event for kids run by drag queens. There was in 2023 there were groups of fascists essentially who dressed themselves up as concerned parents. They've been from groups like Blood and Honor, like actual neo-Nazi groups, and would monthly protest outside Honor Oak Pub to against the drag queen story time, again using the whole groomers argument. And it's the same as the arguments over in the 80s over the book Jenny Lives with Eric and Martin that led to Section 28. All of this is just recycled transphobia with a lot of fascism added a lot of the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you think about it, those kids are going to a library, a story's being read to them by a character.
Yeah.
It's no different from taking your child to a frigging pantomime.
No, absolutely
where all the dames are played by men and have been for years. If you go back to Shakespearean days, men were played by women and women were played by men. But again, that doesn't suit their narrative because, it was Shakespeare. It's Shakespeare work. It's fine. No, it's no different.
No, so Shakespeare was a raging queer. Sorry.
Yeah. And it's exactly going to, go to a drag story out. It's these parents are, bemoaning, whinging. It's first of all, your child didn't walk themselves to the drag story hour. You took them.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I took my oldest to a drag show years ago. The one that I mentioned to you and Max before, the Boulet Brothers Dragula.
Yeah.
And that's how we started off by watching Do Not Judge Me Here, RuPaul's Drag Race. And then I discovered Dragula. And that became mine and his thing. And when we realised that they were coming to tour in the UK, I'm like, right, I'm booking tickets. He loved it. And the amount of people was like, is that your kid? I'm like, yeah. And I accidentally made a gay couple cry. And they were like, we need more parents in here. I'm like, but it's my job as a mum. If my kid wants to come to this, I'm bringing them to this. And it's like, and he had so much fun. No one tried to groom him. No one tried to group him. We were all there just having for the same thing, watching these amazing trans queens, AFAB queens, drag queens have an amazing time and showing us what they could do. And that's it. And it's just like, it's a show. It's performative. And it's like, I don't know if you've heard of the Boulay Brothers Rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's like one thing I love that they say with the judging part, art is subjective.
Yeah.
And that is what drag is. It's art. I look at them and I'm thinking, holy shit, I wish I could have the talent to do my makeup the way they do. And it's just like the ones who have the balls to go out and think, you know what, fuck it, I've got nothing to lose. They'll go on stage as a drag king or a drag queen. And I'm like, crack on, you have got more balls than me. And anybody who wants to do that, they've got my support, because it takes a lot to be that other person and perform in front of hundreds of people you don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like what you said, Bernie. It's like you follow what your child does or does not do. Yeah. But it's like it's almost as if these people who have these kids, which it's like, as someone who doesn't have kids, I've had this argument say to me that because you don't have kids, you don't get the same thing. Well, actually, I do. Just because I don't have kids doesn't negate my opinion, right? If you have so much reaction to drag queens, reading a book to your child, or whatever the case may be, then maybe it's not the fault of the drag queen; it's the fault of you.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like these people. It's like as if they treat them as a mini version of themselves, not realizing that if these people look back in their history when they grew up, I bet they did things that were deemed not normal.
I mean, come on, look at when we were growing up. We had Dame Edna Everage.
Yeah.
We had Lily Savage.
Yeah.
We had Julie and Clary as fucking gay as a fairy. Well, camp as a fairy, should I say, back then. But what I don't is, why do they go after drag queens and not drag kings? Because it's like the same as with trans women and trans men. It's like you can't go after one without going after the other.
It's it's misogyny. It's just repackaged misogyny in the end. Like it comes back to what I was saying about the control of women's body and what women should look like in their minds.
Well, it doesn't help as well that the media presents, oh, you've got to be this 6 foot, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, skinny woman.
No, absolutely doesn't help.
And I think Playboy hasn't helped with that over the years.
No, it hasn't.
Films haven't helped. And it's like, look at Pamela Anderson. That woman's in her 50s. Stop wearing makeup. She looks amazing. Yet the amount of people that are judging her for it.
Yeah, because
the woman in Georgia who was brain dead.
Yeah.
And when people say, oh, she gave birth. No, she didn't. She was dead. They took that baby from her. And I was having this discussion the other night, and I know this is going to sound evil and horrible, but it's not meant that way. I hope that baby doesn't survive, because then it'll prove them wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. I mean, it was also in the case of Adriana Smith, who was kept alive as an incubator. It's also a huge case of racial injustice. I mean, she was a Black woman. It's entirely tied to the fact that Black women worldwide, I think, but definitely in the US, are also more likely to die during childbirth. And again, like all these things are intersectional. So misogyny will always be much worse for a Black woman or a working class woman.
I mean, I was scrolling through Insta the other night. As Toren knows, I'm a true crime nut. And I was scrolling this video, excuse me, and it was about a Black couple who, the woman was pregnant, went to give birth. She delivered the baby's head vaginally. The rest of the body was C-section. The nurse had pulled the baby that much because the shoulders got stuck. She decapitated the baby. That they gaslit the mum, saying, oh, the baby was stillborn. And it wasn't until the parents went to the funeral home where they found out the truth, because they wanted a autopsy on the baby. hospital guest list. Oh no, it was going to cost you too much. So they hired their own private, I don't know what they're called, who do the autopsies. He then proceeded to post the baby's autopsy results on Insta with photos of this poor child. They wouldn't have done that if that was a white couple.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it's.
And it's just, it's disgusting.
Going back to black women. In the UK, black women are 3.7 times more likely to die during or in the first year after pregnancy compared to white women. In the US, in 2021, the maternal mortality rate for non-Hispanic black women was 69.9 deaths per 100,000 live births.
Did you say
which is
69?
2.6 times the rate for non-Hispanic white women.
Was that 69 I heard?
Yeah, 69.9 deaths per 100,000 live births. And that was in 2021.
I dread to think what it is now. But again, look at American prisons. You look at the numbers of black prisoners or prisoners of colour compared to white prisoners.
Sure. I mean, the American prison system is actually a continuation, a lot of people argue, of slavery, essentially. So a lot of prisoners are forced to work for no or incredibly little pay. A lot of them are people of colour, and a lot of them are having to make private prisons money. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'm an anarchist, I'm a prison abolitionist. I don't believe that carcerality is what will save us. I believe community and accountability and mediation and social care are what we need in society.
Well, this is it. This is what I was saying to Max the other week about if you look in Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, the prison systems there rehabilitate them.
Yeah.
They've got, it's not a hotel, but it's a lot more comfortable. They're more likely to work with you than against you because you are giving them that chance.
Sure.
I mean, you could put a person of colour and a white person together in the same courtroom for the same crime. Who's going to get longer? We know the answer. The black person or the person of colour because of their skin colour.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I called my mum out. I called my own mum out because she's a white South African Christian with the whole George Floyd thing. She was like, oh, he killed a pregnant woman. I went, yeah, but he did his time for that, though. He didn't deserve to get murdered for what he did. I says, how many times do you get turned away for a job because of your name, because of your skin colour?
Yeah, we have a mentality with people of colour, especially this idea that they should be perfect victims, and the perfect victim doesn't exist, and it's a hugely racist idea that is very, very heavily ingrained.
And I says, because when I was born, it was 80s. So back in South Africa, it was, I don't know how it is now because I haven't been back for the last 36 years. But when I was there, my parents had a job. We had maids of colour. We had a nice little house. They lived in their shanty towns. And I said to my mum then, I said to her then, with the whole George Floyd thing, I says, that's white privilege there. I says, we had a house of bricks. We had a roof over our head. We didn't have to worry about where our food came from or our electric or our things like that. They did. I says, that is white privilege there. I mean, I made a comment that when I was 4 years old when we first moved over here, that I still feel guilty about now at 40 years old. Because in South Africa, white and black people are so segregated that when we moved to the UK and we saw a black family walking together, I said to my parents, I says, I didn't realise they could walk so freely here. And at that time, I was a 4-year-old kid. I didn't know any better. But I still feel guilty for saying that.
Sure.
Because I didn't realise things were different over here than they were there. I thought everywhere was the same.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, going to a more progressive country, I mean, it's like, that's obviously going to be a massive shock for anyone who has never lived in the UK. And it's like, you know, I grew up in Birmingham, you know, a massive multicultural city, you know, and it's like that's the first thing I saw when I was a kid. It's like I lived on the street, you know, predominantly it was like Caribbean, Muslim, Pakistani, you know, it was just that, and it was, and you know, it was a very educational time to be, you know, for me as a kid, because it's like that's what I saw. I saw, you know, like you, I saw black people, you know, constantly, you know, and it's like, you know, so when I look at, you know, you know, my color, it's like no, I say this all the time, and it's like, you know, the same people will cry that I'm being racist. It's like I don't see color. Well, I don't like. I don't judge you. I don't judge you on the basis of your skin color. I judge you based
As
on
a
your
person,
character,
yeah.
right?
I
On
mean,
what
I
you
do,
do.
like, don't get me wrong, I do see skin colour, but I see them as a person.
Yeah.
Again,
Yes.
like you,
Exactly.
I've always been, treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. Treat me like a
Yeah.
cunt, you'll get treated like one back. To
Yeah.
me,
But it's like,
respect is a huge thing. I
yeah.
mean,
But it's like if you take, but if you take that, like, you know, we treat people based on their character. Like, I don't see color. Right, that's fine. Okay, whatever. Right, but it's almost as if you try and explain to someone who's a germ, another name, another new name for turf, that if you apply that same logic to trans people or whatever, right, you judge them on their character.
yeah.
If they do something wrong that you don't agree with, I won't agree with your tactic. But I could see if I put myself in their shoes in their worldview, I'm like, okay, in your worldview that might make sense, but
Well,
it doesn't.
the perfect example of what you've just mentioned, I don't know if either of you have heard of her. I cannot speak. If either of you have heard of her, Lily Tino.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I
Yeah.
can see Rusty's confusion there. Who? Basically, they're a trans woman that will go around Disney restaurants and go on TikTok lives going, I've been misgendered.
Yeah.
But it's like, you've treated stuff like shit. The amount of videos I see on Insta calling her out, like you go to an Applebee's, you are complaining about everything. It's not the like Michelin starred restaurant, it's an Applebee's. Like, say, your local coffee, you know, your local over here, you're not going to get top-notch food.
Sure.
You know, you can't complain about it. But yeah, it's a thing. Florida police are investigating her because she just recently went to Disney World and was filming herself in women's toilets with women behind her. And it's just like, and it's like, as I said, every time she goes out for a meal, which is every day apparently, how she can afford that, I don't know. And she's like, oh, I've been misgendered. Or they're refusing to serve me because I'm a man. It's like, yeah, but your actions have consequences. It's how you treat them before you turn that camera on.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like going to that point. Recently, this person, I think they're a turf, gender critical turfs, same thing, same fucking thing to me. Took their dog to the vets, and the vet turned to her and said that, you know, basically her dog is too fat.
Oh, Alison Bailey.
Yeah, and she started turning abuse, and she got banned.
Yeah,
and you know, it's like what you like. A vet has told you your dog is too fat, meaning you probably overfed your dog, or there's probably a medical issue. But either way, you know, not relevant. Your dog is too fat, and she blew up.
Yeah, and now she's
But
trying
this,
to
but
say she was banned
yeah.
because she's a TERF. But guess who her best mate is? Rowling.
Oh,
Right.
of
Yeah.
course.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
it all goes back to the
it says
same
a lot
person.
the number of issues we've kind of managed to pivot to on the podcast today, like transphobia, medical racism, anti-immigrant kind of sentiment. It's been it's been interesting. Thank you guys for having me here.
No, honestly,
that's
thank you for
fine.
coming on with me.
Yeah. Just like, what are your plans for the remaining year? Like, do you have any more plans for more process? Like, where can people?
I mean, we
follow
can't say
you?
anything we do in advance.
That's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, rest assured we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Follow us at Trans Kids Deserve Better on Instagram and TikTok. Look at our website. If you're a trans kid, sign up, join us. If you're a trans adult, come to actions and support. Donate to our fundraisers.
Yeah, I will make sure to put all relevant links down below in the description, so everyone can go join.
Oh, before you go as well, Rusty, the show is called What It Feels. Really cannot speak today. What It Feels Like for a Girl.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Because
have a look.
She wrote the book as well. Oh, I really can't remember the name of the author, but the book's really good as well. And we've only just watched a couple of episodes, and it is really good.
Awesome. Okay, I'll take note of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
No worries.
No problem. But so yeah, thank you for giving us your time. I really appreciated speaking to you, and I wish you nothing but the best for the future. And I will most certainly be keeping an eye on all of your future endeavours. Activities. Yeah.
And if you're in Nottingham, I'm definitely dragging Phoenix there. They won't have a choice. I'm like, you're coming.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming to meet others like you, So I think that's for them, because in where we live, they are the only openly non-binary child we know.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like, I want them to meet other children like them, so they know they're not alone.
Yeah.
And because it's like, we'll have a laugh and a joke with them. They'll say, oh, because before they came out as non-binary, they're like, oh, I'm bisexual. I'm 60% boys, 40% girls. And now that number's shrunk over the years. It's more boys than girls. But that's them. That's down to them at the end of the day. And it's like with my oldest, he's asexually romantic. Crack on, kid. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me here today. It's been really good. It's been lovely.
No, you're welcome.
No, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye. Oh, they were lovely.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
I just wanted to give them a big hug. The mama bear came out. I just went like, give me a hug.
That was really. I really enjoyed that conversation with Rusty.
Well, it's like Rusty said, we covered everything with trans children, the germs, the medical racism, and that's I love the fact that we can have discussions like that with somebody else. But if you brought on people like that dickhead from the first time I watched you guys, you won't have that kind of conversation.
No. And it's like, they put up this front of, we want to debate, we want discourse. But as soon as you challenge them on their thoughts, on their worldview, and you challenge them to a discourse, they do a complete 180. And they revert to basically, a child having a tantrum, or because he's not getting their way. And it's like poor mate, you're probably in your mid to late 50s, early 60s, and you're acting like a complete arsehole. But that was really...
This is totally random, but there's a reason for this. Have you heard of Gene Hatchett?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So, and do you know who Bonnie Blue is?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. Is that the woman who has sex with 1,000 men?
Yeah, she's from my area. She's from Nottingham.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
She doesn't represent the whole of Nottingham, I will say that.
Well, yeah, no,
She's been
absolutely.
banned from Forest Football Club. But anyway, Jean Hatchett posted a picture of a still from a porno that Bonnie Blue's making.
Right.
And all the girls and boys are dressed like schoolgirls and schoolboys. And you've got the typical hunky male school teacher. Jean Hatchett genuinely thought they were fucking school kids. It's like, are you that fucking stupid? The fact that she goes around with concealed weapons. I mean, the last one of the Let Women Speak crap thing that they had in Nottingham, I think it was back in February. They went into the Castle pub, which is opposite Nottingham Castle. They're very, LGBTQIA plus friendly. And of course, the germs went in there. And bar staff can refuse to serve whoever they want without having to give a reason. So they refused to serve Jean and her girlfriend. And they were crying, oh, it's because we're lesbian. And the barmaid was like, no, it's because you're with them over there. So she was trying to sue the pub for throwing her out for being gay. It's like, no, you were thrown out because you were fucking turfs, mate. They don't want you in there.
Yeah, it's like, when I was like, how old was I? I think I was about, trying to do the math. I was between 13, maybe 14. There was this, me, my mum, and a family friend went out for there, and we ended up going to a pub, which on the outside it looked like a normal pub, right? But obviously, when you walk inside, there were only women, and my mum and my friend found out that it was a pub for lesbians.
Yeah.
Which there were no call signs. It was out on the outside, it was like a normal pub. But, we stayed. And it's like, and that was probably not my first, because we have family friends who are considered family, who, my auntie, she's not blood related, but she's an auntie because she's been a family friend for over 20 years. She's a lesbian. And it's like, so I've been used to gay people, and so it's like, didn't bother me. But if someone like Alison Bailey or Jean Hattie walked into a pub, that you can't tell from the outside if it's a gay club, a gay pub or not, they would have a fit, and they'd be like, you tricked me. It's like, no, we didn't trick you. Just because we don't it's like, what do you want? Do you want every single pub to have like a fucking neon sign outside
that goes gay pub, trans pub? Yeah.
It's like, no, like get a fucking grip. But it's like, it's just like it boggles my mind.
But going back to Kelly J. Keane, I love the fact that she's demonetized on every single fucking platform.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, her latest thing was that she got banned on TikTok.
Good.
So it's like, great.
Yeah, because again, she preys on the vulnerability of women.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not one to talk, but it's like, your blonde hair isn't that blonde.
No.
Like,
I mean, that is a bottle job, that is.
Yeah, it's like, listen, I've never dyed my hair. So okay, sue me. I don't care. But it's like, come off it. Like, what are you doing? She's another one of these people who I don't know what her background is. I don't know if she's like working class or middle class. But it's like, like, how are you able to fund all this when you'll probably get sued?
Yeah.
It's like, look at Glinner.
Yeah.
He's been
I love the
sued
fact
like
that
5 times.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, look at Glinner. It's, as you said, it's like he's a sad little pathetic man who blames his brother-in-law for his wife leaving him and taking the kids. It's like, no, mate.
No.
And it's like, he reminds me of, the Sontaran from Doctor Who, the things that look like fucking potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
He reminds me of that. And he looks like he shouldn't be allowed near kids.
No.
He's just got this dirty, pervy, lechy look about him.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you spend 14 hours a day on Twitter and all you do is harass cis women and kids and trans kids who you think, especially that one person who, like apparently wore a chest binder, which like
this is it. I mean, it's like I have no objection with kids wearing binders, but I want them to be safe about it. Because you'll have kids that will just use bandages because they want to hide it. It's like if you're a girl and you identify as male, get a sports bra. Because that will kind of tuck you away a bit until you can get that binder. Do your research. It's the same with those who identify as female. If you're tucking, again, do your research. Do it safely.
Yeah.
And I just want them to be safe. I want them to feel as comfortable as they are. I mean, a guy that I used to work with, he just recently ordered some chest binders from Thailand, and he was quite a bit dubious about it because it's Thailand.
Yeah.
And he said they were the best thing ever that he invested in. I'll send you the link if you don't mind popping it in on like the links for later.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
And he said, okay, it was a bit of a wait, but he said, he normally wears a medium, but he said he wished he'd sized up. And it's like when he messaged me saying, I finally been approved for T, I'm like, I'm so fucking happy for you.
Yeah.
No one else clocked him at work that he was trans. Because we had a conversation outside once and I went, oh, do you mind me asking what your pronouns are? And at the time he went, she, her. And then he pulled me to one side saying, actually, my pronouns are he, him. But you don't know who's around at work, who's listening.
Yeah.
Says, mate, that's fine. I'll just refer to you as he, him. And I always will do. And the poor guy got fucking dead named at work because they still haven't changed their name legally. It's like, oh my God. And the person who dead named them, I was surprised at who it was. I'm just like, we don't know if he realized that he did it. And he was like, dude, this is my name. This is my name since I've been here. When have you ever heard me use my dead name? And this is the thing, it's like with the whole piss off lawyer thing. I don't agree with the fact that people are dead naming them. And the worst one for that is fucking Fred Sargent, who I only discovered about this week. So that's been an interesting rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, well, Fred Sargent can fuck right off because he's just another fucking.
He is living off his late partner's legacy. He's ruined all the work that he did. And it's like, let's face it, who are the TERFs going to go after next? Gay guys, lesbians and bis. Once they think they've beaten trans people, that's it. We're moving on to our next target, which is you guys.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah,
and
that's what.
Soaked into the germy culture, they don't realise they're the next fucking target.
No, and that's what makes Hendrix even more sad because she said herself, that she and Miss Holocaust and I had had a private conversation. It's like, in all of your apparent wisdom, have you not figured out that the mere fact that you're closing up the turfs is playing right into their hands?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's like they're like, yes, I'm detransitioning, but I still support trans rights.
Yeah.
Soon as the moment Hazel Appleyard said, put LGB in your profile, they did. It's a case of the germs going, jump, and Hendrix says, how high? They're using them as a performative fucking monkey.
Mm.
And as I said, I adore Hendrix because, they had this massive platform. They were fighting for trans rights. But to see them being taken advantage of by the germs, but they can't see it, they've got the blinkers on. And the trouble is as well, the more you tell someone that they're being, taken in by this cult, because let's face it, that's what they are, the more you are to push them into it. The only thing we can do is sit back and watch it. And when it does the pot boils over, Hendrix will need that support. Yes, they might have pissed a lot of people off with how they've gone about things, but that's still our trans sibling. Whether they're detransitioning or not, they still need support.
Yeah,
okay, as I said before, it's the way they've done it that's hurt me. And I know it's hurt a lot of other people in the community. But we still need to be there for them when the pot boils over and they realise the grass isn't greener with the fucking germs.
Yeah,
and the
it's like
and fucking mouldy adult brain.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, Hendrix still follows me, and listen, my DMs are always open. Like, I might send them a message in a couple of days or something, saying that if you ever need to talk, if you ever need me, I'm always here. Like, so I don't, just because I unfollowed them on Twitter doesn't mean anything. Like, that's my, So yeah, if they're, but it's like I just needed to remove myself because I can, as you've noticed, and you will notice even more. I can be pretty sharp with my tongue.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't need something there that I can easily have a go at. So that's why I removed myself.
Yeah.
But it's like, like I say, to anyone out there who has detransitioned or goes through the process, you will still get the support you need. Right? We may have we may not be happy with your choice, right? But it's your choice, it's your life, it's your journey.
Yeah.
We might not we might not like the way you go about things. In the case of Hendrix, but there will be people there. It may take us a while to accept what you've done, but the support will be there.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just like, because, like I said, I interviewed him a year ago. Because
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like, I interviewed Hendrix a year ago because this was on the back of not on the back of, this was because of the upcoming elections, and the potential backlash and what could happen with the trans community. And it's like, they were so invigorated, they were so enthusiastic, upbeat, about raising trans people's voices even more. You know, battling against the a small minority but loud voice of TERFs, and not that I have kept up with pissed off lawyer and his tweets that often, but as of late, up until recently, I noticed a change in them. The pivot to detransitioning, and it's like,
I mean, I know they said they are going to have laser surgery because of all the facial hair they've got.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know that they did say they haven't been able to, because obviously they're on HRT because I think they had a full hysterectomy because of their endometriosis.
Yeah.
Which I understand. I've got adenomyosis, which is the evil twin sister of endometriosis, and it is fucking awful. Because it's taken me 4 years to get diagnosed with adenomyosis. The difference is, with adenomyosis, it's where you get the, I don't know the fucking name for them, but they're on the outside of the womb. The endometrial tissue is on the outside of the womb, not on the inside of the womb.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, knowing how my cramps are, it's like, I feel for people with endo because it is fucking horrible. There's days I can't get out of bed. I've got an appointment in August with my consultant to yeet my squatters in my womb. It's like, well, my last job, I'm like, I said to the lads that I got on with, I'm like, do you fancy earning some extra cash? And they were, you're on your period again, aren't you? I went, yeah. And they're like, no, we're not eating your uterus, you'll die. I'm like, well, no, I'm consenting to you yeeting it, so it wouldn't be murder.
Yeah.
This is how I am. I've got a dark sense of humour. That's my coping mechanism. It's like the medication that I'm on, I'm sweatier than Jimmy Savile in a fucking morgue.
Yeah.
And it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's like, it's my venlafaxine. And on all the other medication I've been on, sertraline, citalopram, metrazapine, flutoxetine, never had an issue with it. This year, fuck me sideways. I'm like literally having to have the fan on constantly. I'm drinking constantly. I can barely wear anything because I'm so, and this does sound a bit grim, that I am so sweaty, even though it's been cold or a lot colder than what it has been. I'm like, well, at least it's prepping me for my fucking menopause when I'm older. At least I know what to fucking expect.
Yeah.
But it's just like, why? Just why? To the point where I can't even keep my cover on or anything.
Yeah, it's like, when we had the mini heat wave.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Like, I mean, I hate the sun as it is, and I hate the summer anyway. I'm one of these weird people that I prefer the cold.
Yeah.
Colder the better. It's perfect for me. I mean, that's probably because of mental health as well. I just like the sun is like just like a fucking bane of my existence.
Yeah.
And it's like,
but let's face it as well.
Let alone trying to get to sleep. Like, I was fucked.
I mean, let's face it as well. It doesn't help that it's a muggy heat.
Exactly.
And when you got people from America saying, "Oh, buy an aircon unit, bitch, please." One, our buildings aren't built for them. Two, exactly. I'm not spending $1,000 out for something I'm going to use 2 weeks a year.
Exactly.
And two, a lot of buildings won't let you because of them being listed.
Yeah, if we had summers where you know, it's like I remember going to,
Yeah.
like, I think this was like 8 years ago.
Mm.
I went to Cornwall with my mates,
Yeah.
and we had what we had, like we had like a mini heat wave
Mm.
that lasted for like I think 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and I coped.
Yeah.
And the reason why I coped is because there was a breeze,
Mm.
right? Which was a cooling effect. It's like
Yeah. This is it. I
then
mean,
I
it's
can
like,
handle, but it's
this
no,
is it. We get the heat for 2 weeks of the year.
yeah,
But let's face it, we're British. We moan if it's
no,
too cold. We moan if it's too hot.
yeah,
I'm like, just bring me back autumn so I can have my foggy mornings back.
yeah,
You know, I used
yeah,
to love seeing that on my way into work because that's the boss in me, is seeing those foggy mornings. I mean, where my old office used to be, we had a graveyard behind the office, and it looked so beautiful on those foggy mornings. And it's like, I took a
yeah,
picture of it and I'm like, this is so pretty.
yeah. It's like you know,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
like
talking about going back to the grooming gangs.
oh yeah,
So I'm just on Facebook, and a
oh
guy I
yeah,
know got anybody familiar with Lost in Lavender Town from Stoke? This is their drummer, Alex Jardine, at the far right rally in Nottingham in this past weekend. And everybody was like, somebody commented saying, "Oh, he lost his job recently due to his opinions because he was teaching drums." And people said, "Oh, you speak to him, cut him off." And somebody put, "Yeah, I got rid after seeing the abhorrent views too." Then he commented, "My views? What of knowing what a woman is and not wanting women and kids to be abused and the police and government covering it? Bro, you're a cuckold." And they're like, "Keep looking the boots of ideology that harms kids, you freak." It's like, what the fuck? And this is it. It's like, and this is from the metal scene as well. And that is one of the most fucking inclusive scenes going.
yeah,
And then it's the fact that he's being called out. It's just like, yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a fascist for wanting to get rid of Pakistani rape gangs. You still don't know what a woman is, do you?" Dude, there are white fucking grooming gangs as well. You've got more of them than you do the fucking people of colour grooming gangs. But again, that's all they focus on is the skin colour.
yeah,
Because,
exactly. It's like
no, a white man couldn't possibly do that. Oh, fuck off. They're the worst for it. Look at fucking religion. Look at vicars, priests. Look at fucking coppers. Look at screws.
oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started on fucking the church. For fuck's sake.
Oh, no,
The amount of
everybody knows about it, but they fucking cover it up.
yeah, the amount of times I've had a you know you've given me a new favorite run now. Whenever I argue with germs,
Yeah.
doesn't happen very often anymore because I think they hate me. Oh well, too bad.
Yeah, but isn't it great, though, living
And they
rent-free in their
say,
heads?
oh yeah, and it's like, oh, we care about children. It's like, do you? Well,
Mm,
what about children being abused in the church?
yeah.
No word. Oh,
A friend of mine, he's in his 50s. He was abused by
mhm,
religion.
yeah. You know, it's
And yet
like,
they get away with it. Why? This is what
yeah,
I want to know. Why, after all these fucking years? It's the same with Catholic schools of nuns.
yep,
They're the worst. They're
hmm,
not the worst. They're just fucking bad.
yeah,
They
exactly. It's
abuse
like,
girls differently.
yeah, and it's like, it's almost as if I have to always put this fucking caveat in, as
Mm,
if it's like not common fucking sense.
yeah,
Right? So I'm gonna, you know, it's like not all cis men, you
yeah.
know, commit SA. It's like it shouldn't take common sense for you to reach that logic, but they can't. It's like if you truly cared about the safety of children, right, then you wouldn't let them be in the presence of,
Yeah.
again, not all members of the church are abusers. Of course not. Right? It's like God forbid we'd harass every single church member going. There'd be no churches left. Right? That's not what we're saying. But it's been going on for years. It's been covered up numerous times.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, like you're either, this is classic, denialism.
Yeah.
At its core, and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I hear of someone abusing a child, right, it's never a drag queen. It's never a trans person. It's always a cis white man.
Yeah. I mean, look at what was that fucking what's his name? Dude in America that crossed state lines to go shoot a person of colour and then got away with it because he was white.
Oh yeah, America, the land of the free. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you can go into a fucking supermarket and buy a gun, it's like, how is that normal?
Yeah.
That's just fucking that shit.
Yeah, well, that's America for you. I mean, they say they have the right to bear arms. Like, I disagree. But given the amount of shootings they have a year, but that's just me.
I mean,
that's just me.
When I was younger, back in South Africa, because it is a big hunting country, but it's like my parents spent their honeymoon hunting, but they ate what they hunted, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's you shoot to eat. My dad can do one of these. He can kill it, cook it, eat it.
Yeah.
He wasn't one for doing it as sport. I mean, I can remember as a kid, my uncle and cousins used to go pheasant shooting. My grandpa would pluck those pheasants and those grouse. We'd have meat for months.
Yeah, because I mean, because that's how you do it. It's like you. Yeah. It's like, guys, I've seen the videos of of people killing animals, like deer, for instance.
Yeah, the poachers,
because obviously in America there's a certain limit. I don't know what it is, but there's a certain limit that they can kill to obviously trim the herd. It's like they utilize the whole animal.
Yeah.
It's like that's how it's supposed to be done. Not like trophy hunting, like hunting elephant tusks or shooting a lion.
Yeah.
But it's almost as if they've skipped an entire evolution.
Yeah.
Of a part of their brain where they've ceased to function, and it's like they're stuck in a warped time zone where we can do what we want because we're white. It's like no, just because your skin color is a color of privilege doesn't mean you can do what you want. There are consequences, but unfortunately, certain individuals who we all know are at the behest and the funding power of J.K. Rowling, who will bail them out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know that you have the money because you're on a yacht, but you can't attend to the growing mold in your house. Okay, but it's like Stephen Fry and J.K. Rowling, like good for him. But it's like the point you raised.
You say good for him, but he's been problematic in the past.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. Yeah.
Comments.
Yeah, and also back in 2016, he made a comment about victims of child abuse, and it's like good for him for calling her out, but like, what about like he has never apologized for his comments. Not what I could see anyway. It's like, it's like now, Boy George has got involved.
Yeah.
It's like telling J.K. Rowling to basically shut the fuck up. But she won't. It's like, you'd think that she'd be too busy with the Harry Potter HBO TV series.
She's probably got nothing to do with it.
I think she has. I think she has done, because I think if I I can't be bothered to check. I think she does have something to do with it. But either way, you know, um, yeah, that's basically everything that there is to say about germs. You can kill a thousand cockroaches, but they will always reappear.
220 American school shootings since January the 1st this year.
Oh, fantastic!
That's what I was just doing. I was just like,
yeah.
I went on Google. And I was like, right, okay. Wish it gave me a number. Yeah, it was like literally just counting. Yeah, so it's literally from January the 1st.
Yeah.
There was January. There was 32 mass shootings, 45 dead, 112 wounded. February, there was 28 mass shootings, 49 dead, 83 injured. March, 34 shootings, 35 dead, 150 injured. So a total of mass shootings, 169. Total number of people dead, 216. And total number wounded, 643. That's just until fucking May.
For fuck's sake.
I mean, let's face it, England had the best idea of when the school shooting happened in Dunblane. Ban all the guns.
Yeah.
And how many school shootings have we had since? None. Oh, shit. I mean, okay, we've got knife crime, but, I mean, you can't compare the two.
No, you can't.
And I mean, and that's the reason you've got the green fences around schools, because they didn't have that previously.
No. I just popped on to translegislation.com. It's an anti-trans tracker bill.
What's it called?
Translegislation.com.
Yeah.
In 2025, 940 bills are under consideration across the country that will negatively impact trans and gender non-conforming people. This number is anticipated to grow, and this is in the US, by the way, because unfortunately, we don't have our own version for the UK.
Yeah.
Back in 2021, 143 bills, 18 of those passed. 2022, 174 bills, 26 passed. 2023, 615 bills, 87 passed. 2024, 701, 51 of those passed. In 2025, 940 bills so far, 115 have passed.
Yeah. Texas, they've got the most active bills. They've got 130.
Yep.
Who's got the least? Let me have a look.
Iowa.
Delaware, Nevada, Nebraska, Louisiana, Rhode Island, Hawaii, Colorado, Maryland, Massachusetts, Kansas, California, South Dakota, New York, Washington, Pennsylvania, New Mexico, North Dakota, Maine, Alabama are all under 10.
Yep.
The state with the most, Texas.
Yep.
Are we surprised?
No.
130 anti-trans bills they have.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
104
Mm.
have been signed into law. 11 others have passed but haven't yet been vetoed or signed.
Mm.
So these bills are in healthcare 21, other 23, education 26, adoption 2, bathroom 13, sports 9, incarceration 6, religious exemptions 1,
Mm.
child welfare 1, child abuse 5, pronouns 4, child custody 1, birth certificates 1, and employment 2.
It's just like, ugh. And then they've got the eradicating anti-Christian bias. Fuck off. Listen, I'm not religious, but if people find religion comforts them, great. Just don't force it down my neck.
Yeah, one of the healthcare bills, ALSB 101. This is just basically an overview. This bill would require a minor to be at least 18 years of age to consent to medical, dental, and mental health services, including participation in guidance counselling and any programming relating to mental health, suicide prevention, or bullying prevention. It's like there's another one in other that bill that I just read is passed. Another one, sex-based terms defined, vital statistics, report sex as male or female at birth required, legislative policy regarding sex and gender identity established. The following words, whenever they appear in this code, have the following meanings unless otherwise apparent, from the context or otherwise explicitly defined. Boy, a human male who has not yet reached adulthood. Father, the male parent of a child or children. Female when used in reference to a natural person. Wow.
Yeah.
Natural person.
Yeah. Well, I'm just reading about Maryland's healthcare bill. They introduced Health Occupations Cross-Sex Hormone Therapy for Minors Prohibition, Protect the Kids Act, which is prohibiting a licensed healthcare practitioner from prescribing, dispensing, or administrating a cross-sex hormone or otherwise providing cross-sex hormone therapy for the treatment of a certain mental health diagnosis to an individual who's a minor. And it says here, a person that violates this section is guilty of a felony and on conviction is subject to imprisonment not exceeding life. And then it says, a healthcare practitioner licensed under this article may not prescribe, dispense, or administer cross-sex hormones or otherwise provide cross-sex hormone therapy for the purposes of treating a mental health diagnosis associated with gender non-conformity, including gender dysphoria to an individual that's a minor. Thing is, though, it's like the germs are so obsessed, like in the UK, oh, minors are having plastic surgery. No, they're not. You've got to be fucking over 18 for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh. West Virginia, recognizing transgenderism as a mental disorder and affirming the biological reality of two genders. Fuck off.
Yeah, coming from this all coming from a fucking president who is too busy.
The guy who's a criminal and a rapist, and he wants to fuck his own daughter.
Oh yeah, like if she wasn't my daughter, I'd whatever.
Who says that about their own child, for fuck's sake?
It's like, yeah. I mean, it's like I haven't checked this website in a while, but I used to check it like every few days or so. But like, it's just fucking disgusting. The amount of bills, like 940 so far. We're not even, and we're only 6 months in.
That guy is gonna fucking ruin America so much. I mean, he's gonna literally have every woman dressing like they're in Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, it's like let's take the Roe versus Reed. It's like so you restrict. Not only do you restrict, but you're basically taking away a woman's right to bodily autonomy, right? Because just for people watching or listening, abortion is healthcare for the woman. It's not
Yeah.
just about. It's not just about. It's got nothing. It's not just about the baby.
No.
Abortion is healthcare for women, right?
Yeah.
So what you basically done is like it was back in the 40s, 50s, where
Yeah.
they were doing back alley abortions,
Abortions, yeah.
right?
Well, it's like my sister-in-law, who was married to my brother, she was pregnant with twins. And unfortunately, both, because in South Africa, you have to pay for scans. And it's like 150 quid a scan, which to us might not seem like a lot. But in South Africa, it's like 1,500 rand. I mean, a fucking loaf of bread is like 50 rand over there, which is like 50p here. But anyway, so she just had the normal 12-week and 20-week scan. And everything seemed fine at the time. And I got told both girls were stillborn and they were disfigured as well. My sister-in-law, she had to give it to them birth full term as well. She said, had I known what was going to happen, I'd have aborted.
Mm.
And every woman should have that right. And I mean, it's like, you've got them kicking off about the bill that's just been passed in the UK. It's like, don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I used to have my rose-tinted glasses on. Oh, abortion should only be if it's a medical need for the mother or the child. Obviously, growing up, it's like, you don't know that person's circumstances. They might not be able to afford the child. They might be a sexual assault survivor that's pregnant, or the rapist got them pregnant, etc. There's a whole plethora of reasons why a woman needs an abortion. It's like, if my mate said to me, I need an abortion, I'm like, right, I'll book you the appointment. Let's go together. And I'd put them a little self-care basket together. Because it's about them. It's about what they want. I mean, there was one guy that I was in a space with, Templar, whatever he was. Bearing in mind, Liverpudlians are supposed to be the most laid-back people in the UK.
Yeah.
This one wasn't. He basically said, my partner's body is my body. If she wanted abortion, I'd say no. I says, what if it happened to your daughter? No. I'm like, you don't have a say over your child's autonomy. Same as your partner. You do not have that say over your autonomy. I got into a conversation about my adenomyosis, and I ended up saying to the guy, I'm like, dude, you are not a woman. You do not get to comment on what is wrong with me. You don't tell me, oh, take some fucking vitamins and shit like that. No, I would rather trust my consultant who's spent years and years.
Oops. We've lost Nerdy. Hopefully she will jump back on. Hopefully she will jump back on any minute now. Right at the stage. Yeah, it's like
sorry, I was just
last.
Just about to message you. My net went for them for a second.
Yeah. As we're on the abortion thing, like I just typed in, like obviously the abortion bill in the UK.
Yeah.
MPs have backed a change to the law that could see abortion decriminalised in England and Wales for women in relation to their own pregnancies in a move backed by the BMA. A vote in Parliament on 17th of June saw lawmakers endorse the NC1 New Clause 1 amendment to the Crime and Policing Bill, which could see an end to the threat of criminal investigation and prosecution of women. Put forward by Labour MP for Gower, Tonya Antonazzi, the NC1 amendment seeks to remove women from long-standing legislation, the Offences Against the Person Act 1861, and the Infant Life Preservation Act 1929 in relation to their own pregnancies. So, which like is great, fantastic. So can we have more? So can we have more of the same, please, in other areas?
You know what? I know abortion was illegal in Ireland. I still didn't know it was classed as illegal in the UK.
Yeah. I don't know if they explicitly said it was, but I don't know. But it would not surprise me if it was classed as illegal, because I mean they. It's our government, and whatever they say apparently is set in stone, not. So yeah, so great, amazing.
Yeah. And yet the turfs keep getting off about it. It's like with the I posted on Twitter about it the other day, the assisted dying bill.
Yeah.
Now, I watched a documentary that Terry Pratchett did just as he was starting to get the early onset symptoms of dementia. And is it Switzerland where they do the, I can't remember what it's called, where you basically go to unalive yourself?
Yeah, and I have massive issue with that.
And he said, can I not make a living will? And I'm like, I get that. But yeah, I do have issues with it. It's like, it needs to be, I'd say, put it through several doctors.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going to turn around and say, oh, I don't like Anthony Eden down the road. Let's offer.
Yeah. It's like.
Do you know what I mean? It's like because people are going to use it to their advantage. I wouldn't say police is the correct term, but it needs to be monitored very heavily. So that people don't take advantage of it, that people that do want it are in the right mind. I mean, I said it myself. I said, if I ever get like motor neuron disease or dementia, because I've seen what it can do to people, I'm going to say, listen, put me down, because I'm not going to be a financial burden on my kids. I don't want them to see me going through that.
Yeah. It's like, going back to you mentioning Switzerland, like this again, this article on BBC, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
This was back in 2021 on the 9th of December. This is why I have like a massive issue with this. A maker in the company, this company is a maker of suicide pod plans to launch in Switzerland.
Yeah.
So they created a 3D printed pod that you can obviously have, that you can buy and purchase and have in your home. So Sarko commissioned a Swiss legal expert who found that the machine did not break any laws in the country, but other lawyers questioned his findings.
Yeah.
And assisted suicide organization Dignitas said it would be unlikely to meet much acceptance. Assisted suicide, in which somebody is given the means to end their own life, which again, per to what you said, I have concerns with that, is legal in Switzerland.
Yeah.
About 1,300 people died there in this way in 2020. Both assisted suicide and euthanasia, in which a doctor ends the life of somebody who wants to die, are illegal in the UK.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you want to give people who are vulnerable, who don't, again, I know this is a touchy subject, but it's like, you're going to give someone who doesn't know, who's confused, Right, they're going through emotions of, they're going through the emotions of, they're in the thought of them wanting to unalive themselves. The vast majority don't go through with it. But now you're going to give them a way out where as soon as they lay in one and they proceed, they can't stop that.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you like? Some stuff like that pisses me off. Now, when it comes to the assisted dying bill, absolutely, people should have the right, especially people who are going through serious life altering, choices where they, despite medical treatment and the best, and all of that, they are not going to live past beyond a certain point. Absolutely. But like you said, it should be done by numerous doctors checking over. Because otherwise it goes against doctors' ethics.
But I'm just on the Dignitas website, and it says suicide attempt prevention, and it says here, it's given a whole list of phone numbers as well, support lines, which is amazing. And then there's a paragraph saying Dignitas gives intensive consideration to the question of suicide and suicide attempt prevention. The fact that every year in Switzerland, tens of thousands of suicide attempts fail demands that we deal with this issue. Many people injure themselves badly and suffer long-lasting physical and often psychological problems with severe emotional and financial consequences for themselves, their next of kin and friends, and also for the public health system and the economy. The suicide issue must be freed from the taboo surrounding it and discussed openly. In a similar way to the issue of abortion, an ideal solution will not be readily available. However, it is our duty to search for the best answer to the problem. Dignitas always looks for opportunities to help people towards life instead of death. And I mean, they've literally got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 helpline numbers for the UK, 1 for the USA, a few for Australia. Not many places would do that. The fact that they are trying to prevent, they are helping people towards life than death. And let's face it, suicide is a taboo. Same with men's mental health or mental health in general. And it's like the whole thing of growing up when we were kids, it was a case of boys don't cry. If you're, or if you cry, you're a sissy, especially to boys. Like, kids are allowed to show their emotions. Why are you hindering them so much? I mean, let's face it, you still get parents that do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know part of it is it's influenced by their upbringing, but it's like you can break that chain. You can break that cycle. It's not
but unfortunately, especially especially with my dad, like he was too far gone. Like he was like of the mindset of as people are in, like, again, not all people from who were born in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
That I shouldn't have to put that fucking caveat in there. But it's like that toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta be a man. Like, stop. Like, don't cry. It's like, why not? Like,
exactly. I mean, it's like my grandpa. His mum died after his birth, and he was born in the 20s. So obviously, you can imagine what it was like back then. This guy didn't go to school. He went to work. He managed to build his own stables. Like, he had his own stables for 50 years. Well, over 50 years. But he was ashamed that he couldn't read and write properly. He was my fucking role model because he didn't let that stop him.
No.
And you know what? He was one of these characters that, I can remember we threw a surprise anniversary party for their 60th wedding anniversary. And we were all secret about it. We went behind him and my granny's back to get everything sorted at the stables, get them to my aunt's house. And my grandpa had come from the stables, and he had to go at my dad. He goes, well, why didn't you tell me I'd have got changed? And my dad was like, it's a surprise party. You know what I mean? Then he was like, well, who's sorting the stables out? Dad, it's sorted. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But he was a cheeky chappy, and it's like, he got down on one knee to propose to my granny again. But he fell off the little puffy as he did it. And he was just one of those. I can remember every weekend on a Friday, I'd go around fish and chips for supper, and I'd always get a curly whirly off him after school. But
yeah,
I admired that man so much because he managed to run that business.
Yeah.
Even though his reading and writing levels weren't that great, he was ashamed of it. Even my dad said, I was so proud of my dad for that. Because there is an element, even now, oh, you can't read or write properly, we're going to judge you. Some people struggle.
Yeah, it's like my
it might take a bit longer. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't. It's like my uncle, one of them, he cannot read or write whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, but he is still able to, you know, like everyone else, work, provide for himself and all of that. So yeah, it's like, you know, there's all of these things. Our toxic masculinity is the only way to be. No,
I mean, it's not.
Just look at fucking Mr. You know, there are two potato heads, Glinger and fucking Andrew Tate.
And don't forget Lawrence Fox.
Oh yeah. Well, he's just a fucking posh twat who like needs to do one.
Yeah, but it's how he fucking talks about his partner as well. It's disgusting.
What, Billy Piper?
No, he hasn't been with Billy for years.
I don't. To be honest, I don't. Whenever I look at Lawrence Fox, I just look at him and I just immediately think rats.
Oh come on, rats are more intelligent than what he is.
Well, yeah, I'm just more in terms of his face. Yeah. But yeah, it's like,
as you said, look at the likes of Andrew Tate.
And
there's so many kids that fucking look up to him. It's like, no, pick better role models, darlings.
Yeah, it's like, you know, this isn't you know, bash his father, you know, not to like say, you know, anything, but his dad is a narcissist.
Who, Fox's?
No, Andrew Tate's dad.
Oh, I've got no idea who his dad is.
Neither do I, but I looked up, I was like, I did a bit of a Google, and I was like, I found out that his dad is narcissistic.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't diagnose anyone because I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
But whenever I see Andrew Tate, and I'm like, the apple doesn't fall
far from the tree.
Yeah. It's like, no. Anyone who falls for his crap, like, again, he said that he moved to Romania because he could get away with human trafficking.
Yeah, but I love the fact that fucking Greta Thunberg fucking shopped him.
Yeah, and it's like, also, I know this is like getting off topic a bit, but hey, welcome to the podcast. Why does one person need 30 passports?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, why? You don't need that many.
Like, are you some sort of fucking secret agent?
He fucking wishes.
Are you MI5? Like, who the fuck
fuck off, MI5 won't fucking have him.
No,
they pay him not to be MI5.
No,
I mean, come on, that bloke is so thick. I mean, how old was Greta when she found out where he lived, where he was in Romania? It was
16,
during lockdown, I think.
I think she was 16. I mean, I think. I don't know.
But I don't understand all the hate for her either.
I don't. It's like, but again, it's typical media. Like, let's attack a girl. Let's attack a young girl.
Who's autistic?
Oh, she's stupid. She's, mad. Like, about climate change. So like, no.
No, we need more kids like.
Yeah.
She's an adult now. We need more people like her in the world.
Yeah, but it's like, like I don't know. So I don't know what nationality Andrew Tate is, and I don't really care. But no one needs 30 passports.
No.
Like come off it. Like, but again, it's like, it's like.
Ugh. I've got right. What national? You know how you're on your phone and you get what nationality, and you get the drop-down box.
Yeah.
So far, I've got what nationalities. Before I've even finished, it's Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Melania Trump, Moana, Keir Starmer, Bruno Mars, Ariana Grande, and Christopher Columbus. And what nationality was Jesus?
Oh, okay.
What is Andrew?
It's like
He's American British.
Right, so because of the dual nationality and dual citizenship, you can have 2 passports. But again, why does he have 30?
This is it. I can have 2 passports because of my dual nationality. If I wanted to, I could have a South African one and an English one. Yeah. Oh, his full name is Emery Andrew Tate III.
Probably named after his dad. because dads love to do that. Not all dads, but they love to give their sons the same name as them.
Yeah. He is facing 6 legal investigations, 4 criminal and 2 civil in Romania, the UK, and the States.
Yeah, and I remember him saying that, Romania is corrupt. And I'm like, okay, fair enough.
But yet you choose to go there.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so you know Romania is corrupt, so you went there because you knew you could get away with it.
Yeah.
What a dummy.
I didn't even know he went into Big Brother.
Oh yeah, he did. It didn't last very long though.
Why don't that surprise me?
I think he was the first one to get evicted, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was first arrested in the UK in July of 2015 after 2 women filed complaints accusing him of rape and assault. And he was arrested again on suspicion of rape in December 2015. In 2019, this fucks me off, the CPS declined to file charges for any of the allegations. And they wonder why women don't come forward.
Exactly. The same with police.
Yeah.
That's why women don't go forward when they've been sexually assaulted, because they know, especially black women, they know that the police won't believe them.
Yeah. I mean, for my last company I worked for, we had solicitors, and this one young woman rang up, and obviously she had a court case against a rapist, and then she was taking her local police to court after that.
Yeah.
And all I could do was apologise during the call, because the police had turned around and said to her, not only did they try and leak messages between her and her friends about it to the fucking rapist, they turned around and said to her, why are you trying to ruin his life? They even have a text message where he admitted what he did to her. And all I kept saying was, I am so sorry you're going through this. Because it's like, no woman should be victim blamed.
No.
I can't remember my police experience when I went to talk about my rape because I was very young. I was 5. It was my babysitter. He was 17. And all I can remember from that interview is talking to a police officer and having 2 dolls. That is all I remember. And it's a catch-22 situation, because part of me is glad I don't remember. Yeah. But then part of me is, I want closure. And, and I feel so much for those women, not just women, children, girls, men, trans, people of colour that are raped. And it's like when you get, she shouldn't have been so drunk, or he shouldn't have been wearing that. It's nothing to do with that. It's about the control.
Yeah.
And it's just like a person should be allowed to wear what they want without looking over their shoulder. Look at the whole Sarah Everard thing. Women can't go out, even now, to say that happened years ago. People still can't go out now without the fear of being attacked.
Yeah.
And then even if we did go to the police, what they're going to do? Fuck all.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, this is slightly different, but I made because of on my old account, because I'm an ally, not a dick.
Yeah.
I constantly got these falsely accused of being a paedophile and a groomer, and so I made 2 police reports.
Yeah.
Right. And nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Say, oh, sorry. we looked at the information you provided because I provided screenshots. We are not proceeding.
Well, this is it. I mean, it's like when Phoenix was at the last school, we gave permission for school to post Phoenix's photos online on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Turf reposted that photo. Fair enough, she covered Phoenix's face. I'll give her that.
Oh, that's good of her.
But I went to the police. I'm like, she's targeting my child. Because everybody that knows us knows that that's Phoenix. Because we haven't hidden away. We've always been open about them being non-binary. And it's like any parent from the school that sees that knows that that's my child. Guess what happened? Fuck all. Yet she reported me for a joke I made with a friend on Twitter about a tin of soup for threats of violence. Yet I'm the one who's getting interviewed under police fucking caution. This woman had 36 pages of my tweets over the last 2 years.
Obsessed much.
And it's like, one of them, she's made a report saying, oh, she's talking about my girls and girl guiding. No, I mentioned in a tweet saying I know a local turf who's against girl guiding, but still sends her daughters. Not once did I mention names. Not once did I mention the area or anything. The police were like, yeah, we can't do anything. But when I reported her of taking that photo of Phoenix, again, nothing was done. That's an underage child.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I don't condone violence, but if something was to happen, I won't be mad.
Yeah, it's like, whenever, again, going back to, uncovering the mass abuse of children in the church, whenever you mention that to TERFs, right, when they do one or two things in my experience. They either double down on their rhetoric, or they will send you a link to an article, and it's always the same article. It's a website. It's a well-known anti-trans website where there is a list of 30 cis men portrayed as trans women.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they're cis men.
Yeah.
Who committed those offences.
Yeah.
It's like that's what they do.
Yeah.
But it's like going back to the police, we know that there's systemic racism in the police force. Are there police officers that are trying to do their best? Absolutely. Are they supportive? Absolutely. But again, it starts from the top.
Yeah.
And that I think she's been removed. But when Sarah Everard happened, the police commissioner, I forget her name, got a lot of backlash.
Yeah, I mean, there's a local festival near me called Bloodstock. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's run by a family, and there's a female family member called Vicky Hungerford. She's fucking problematic. She thinks, oh, I'm working with my dad and brothers. I'm in the big boys club. She came after Sarah Everard's murder happened. She came out and said, on International Women's Day, women are the issue. This is the same woman who also said autism's not real.
Oh, yeah.
And then she came out with something about very transphobic as well, that she disappeared from the limelight for a while. And then she came back after taking all these courses. It's like, no, it's all fucking performative.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that I know that have boycotted the festival because of her. But the worst thing is, she's in charge of the Sophie Lancaster stage. And they set that stage for obviously what happened to Sophie and to Rob. And, you know, that's the stage that's supposed to be about acceptance. Why put a woman who's so fucking problematic and hates other women in charge of a stage like that?
Because, you know, because her family probably have the same views as her and don't give a fuck.
Yeah. This is it. As I said, a lot of people have boycotted the festival because of it. It's like a friend of mine who's disabled. She was contemplating going as a last final hurrah sort of thing. And she was toying of the idea. And somebody was like, oh, I've bought you tickets, so you've got no choice. So she was in the disabled camp and she mentioned to one of the security guys, listen, where's security for the disabled camp? Because there's people with expensive equipment, expensive medication. They turned around and said to her, it's not our fault. You should upgrade to VIP. It's like, hang on a minute. You're supposed to look after everyone at a festival. Not just, oh, I'm going to judge you because you're disabled. Fuck off.
Yeah. Denying autism is classic eugenics.
Yeah.
Eugenics speak.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, trans kids don't exist.
Yeah.
Okay then. So, you know, you're just negating.
Yeah.
History then, I guess. Okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I had someone. I think you liked one of my tweets when I was arguing with that dickhead, who didn't understand what a woman is, even though he asked the fucking question.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he and all germs are classic Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah.
They have a high overcompensation of confidence. Over
I found a tweet that kicked off all the Vicky Hungerford shit. She tweeted on the 14th of October in 2021. If you are going to start putting pronouns on your email so I can refer to you as he, him, she, or her, I'm banning your emails.
Oh, diddums.
People fucking kicked off. So I've just Googled it. And obviously Phil Anselmo, or however he's fucking pronounced, biggest transphobe going. Of course, he was playing that year. But it's like, as somebody else put, she's just an awful woman, fatphobic, classic, anti-feminist, transphobic. She has a habit of being problematic and thinks she's untouchable. And they also put, I used to train at the same gym as her and her husband. They are both particularly not nice people.
Why does that not surprise me? Oh, yeah. They're not very nice people. Well,
and somebody else put, I've heard a lot of bad things about her from people who played at Bloodstock. She sounds like she has an overinflated ego and can bully whoever she wants, ignoring any legitimate criticism by calling anyone who doesn't want to take her bullshit snowflakes.
Yeah.
But then she booked a band for 2022 who has a trans singer. And it's just like, what?
Honestly, you can't
make. The same year that my friend went, there were people with literal fucking swastikas on their fucking tents.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's supposed to be a family festival. And it's like, I'm gutted because I can't do download because of my anxiety. It's far too big. I need to know my exit strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds stupid, but in my head it makes sense.
I'm the same. I'm the same way due to. For me, I'm the same. I have to know my. I'm looking everywhere. Like, right, exit there. Right,
Yeah.
there. I scan. Yeah.
I mean, I can remember once I was sat on a bus because obviously, as I mentioned earlier, my disabilities are hidden. And if I can, I will sit in a disabled seat because if my anxiety gets too much, I get off the bus. And I had my handbag on the chair, the seat next to me, and this old boy comes on with a pair of crutches. So I go to move my bag, thinking he wants to sit down. No, I get verbal abuse from the old boy. What's your disabilities? I'm like, that doesn't matter to you. It's none of your business. Yes, it does. I went, dude, my disabilities are invisible. You don't need to know what they are. He then goes to sit at the back of the bus, even though there was a seat in front of me as well that was empty for elderly and disabled people.
Yeah.
I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to judge you if you sit there. I mean, I had one woman give me fucking, on the way into work on my early mornings, give me dirty looks because I was sat in those seats. Just because I look normal doesn't mean I am.
Yeah. It's like, I used to play I used to play Sunday league football and I used to play for over like 10 years. And it's like I have like you might not know football, so you might glaze over this, but there was an injury that Max Owen did years back where one of his legs was behind him and he basically felt. I basically did that same injury 3 times, and my left leg hasn't been the same ever since. And when I walk, there's I have a limp when I walk, and it's like, whenever I'm on the bus and I see the disabled seat, I do sit there. But it's like it's like I've had dirty looks before, but it's like, I'm sorry, but what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like, if it's free, I'm gonna sit there.
Yeah.
Now, if an elderly person comes on the bus, then yes, I will absolutely move.
Yeah.
And give them that seat. But it's like, it's just the people that think that they have the right to tell you. But yeah, I have I have an invisible illness as well. I'm neurodivergent. I have dyslexia, which I looked and is considered a disability. And it's like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go on? Yeah, it's like, do you want me to, amputate myself so you can take me seriously, or do you want to actually be a common decent person, which you're not, and let me live?
Yeah.
And go about my life.
We're not hurting anyone.
No.
It's like you. It's like, I can remember once when the oldest two were little, because I had a double pushchair because there was like literally only 18 months between them. Get to the bus stop, and as you know, elderly people think they deserve to get on first. And this bloke was behind me with his wife in the wheelchair. Oh, we need to get on first. No, you don't, mate. I was here before you. You don't get to jump the queue just because she's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
They think because they're in a wheelchair or whatever, they deserve to go on straight away. No, mate.
Yeah.
Maybe if you'd asked me politely, saying, oh, do you mind if we go on first? Not an issue.
Yeah.
But, and then the elderly people have the audacity to say people of our age group are rude. It's like, I've seen groups of chavs that will help me more than what an elderly couple would.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's really funny. That I've heard that myself, and it's like the younger generation are rude, are they? Like, I'm sorry, but the amount of times I've seen an elderly person say what they want to say without
Yeah.
any fucks to give. And you want to call us rude? Like, no, we just don't
Even my
put
granny, bless her, before she died, she was in her 70s when she said this. She was like, pensioners are rude. And she was a pensioner herself.
Yeah.
She was, and it's just like, yeah, if you're calling her out, I'm here for it.
Yeah, because the vast majority, again, caveat not all, have a boomer mentality.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of these that I always grew up that I was always a stickler for manners. I still am. If I hold the door open for you, you don't say thank you or anything. I'm like, you're welcome. I'm that little passive-aggressive, Petty. Do you know what I mean? Or it's like, if I hold the door open for someone or wait till they go past and there's no thank you, I'm like, thank you would have been nice. Do you know what I mean? Manners don't cost anything.
No, it doesn't. It's like I used to do that. I used to open a door. If I saw a mother with a posture and she's got like shopping or something, like I open a door and I usually get thank yous. But then I kept on doing it because and in the end I got pissed off because I'm like, you can clearly see I'm opening the door. I had one woman say I can. She said, could I open the door for her? And she said, I can open the door myself. I'm like, I know you can, but I'll be polite.
I'm just trying to be nice.
Yeah. And I was like, and she said, well, don't. I said, well, fuck you then.
Yeah. I mean, this is really petty as well. When you get the old dears, and not just the old dears, but when they're stood in the middle of a shopping aisle and you're trying to get to something and they're in the way, and you say, excuse me, look at you, carry on. The amount of times that the pushchair accidentally got the back of their the back of their ankles. And be like, oh, sorry, I was just trying to get to that. You were in my way.
Yeah.
Oh, the best one was I was in Tesco once. I got told off by a blind person. I'm like, it goes, you're in my way. I'm like, what? I'm like, I couldn't have said I didn't see you there because then he'd have thought I'd be taking a piss. But I'm one of these that, if I'm looking at a shelf, I don't pay attention to my surroundings. I'm looking for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And he goes, you're in my way. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can remember posting about it on Facebook, and one of the guys that I know from my area goes, oh, yeah, I've had issues with him before as well. He thinks he's better, he thinks he's priority because he's blind. It's like, no, you're not, Doc.
Yeah. So I remember this was a few weeks back now. I was on the bus. I got off and I had an appointment to go to, which I was late for because of this reason. But I got off because I saw this elderly gentleman.
Yeah.
If I was to guess his age, I'd probably say mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
Instead of walking on the path, he was walking in the middle of the road.
Ugh.
And so, I noticed, and I also noticed no one was obviously, taking control. So I got off the bus.
Yeah.
And I helped the elderly gentleman to the pavement, and I waited for someone to come and look after him.
Yeah.
But it's like, when I looked, I was like, I didn't assume if he had anything going on.
Yeah.
But it's like, just seeing an elderly gentleman walking in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
It was like, like what led
I get that. I mean, I can remember I was a kid. I was a teenager when I used to go into town and stuff. I can remember this old lady fell and banged her head. Me and this other kid, we phoned an ambulance, made sure she was okay. And she asked us for our phone numbers. Next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call a couple of days later. This old dear's thanking me. It's like, it's nothing. I could see you were hurt. I was trying to do what I could to make you more comfortable while we were waiting for the ambulance. And she was like, oh, my daughter said to say thank you as well. I'm just like, Same as when my friend, woman's that I know, her son, you know those green fences around the park?
Yeah.
He climbed that and slipped and caught his head on concrete.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the poor mum panics, and I'm just there in autopilot mode. I said to my friend, I'm like, just grab Phoenix, just grab in their bottle, take the mum away so I can just deal with little. And I'm there on the phone, phoning an ambulance, etc., etc. A few days later, she gives me a box of chocolates and flour. I'm like, there was no need for that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm that kind of person that I don't do it for the rewards.
Yeah.
It's when you see those on Facebook, like every Tom, Dick and Harry, like me and you, go around, oh, look, I'm feeding homeless people. You don't need to record it.
Exactly.
I get it. If there's one guy that I follow that's in the States, and it's like he will provide stuff for homeless people. And, you know, he'll surprise them. It's like one video I watched where he pretended to be homeless and this woman helped him. And she looked up to this singer who got her out of her crystal meth addiction. And then he was like, well, why did you help me? And she goes, I've been there. I've been homeless. I've struggled. So he goes, I've got a surprise for you. Hands her an envelope. She was going to see the person that, you know, the singer. And not only that, but they sorted out a car for her so that she's able to drive around, passing all the shoes, the socks, and everything out to homeless people. And, you know, sometimes it can be a bit of that knight in shining armor complex. But at the same time, I can see why they do it, because they want to raise money for those people.
Exactly.
It's like, he'll go to a kid, oh, do you want this basketball or do you want this surprise in the box? And a lot of the times, the kids will choose the toys.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, okay, this is what you could have had. And they're like, oh, here, you can still have it. And they'll be like, I don't want that. I want the basketball. But he'll still surprise those kids.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and there was one woman he got attached to. Her name was Rhonda. She was hilarious. And she had both her legs amputated. And she lived in this bus thing that was so dilapidated that he raised money for her so they could give it a makeover. And her reaction to it was everything. And unfortunately, she passed away earlier this year. But it's just, I do miss seeing that interaction with them both when they saw each other. He'd be always like, hey, Rhonda. And she'd be like, hey, Travis. And she was a minx. She was cheeky. Do you know what I mean? And she'd be like, Travis, can we go and bless people? And she would literally go around with him giving money to people worse off than her. But yeah, it's over here. It's a social media thing.
Mm-hmm. That's what I did. You know, it's like, you know, I've got nothing against people who do social media. Like, okay, I find it a bit cringe.
Yeah,
you're doing
some of them can be. Yeah,
like do it behind the scenes. Like, you don't have to glorify it.
Yeah,
but it's like, you know, I could put on social media that, you know, through martial arts I raise money for NSPCC. But I don't need to do that. I don't need to put out there the stuff I do, because like you just said, I don't need
that validation.
I just do it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I did it twice, but mine was for a charity called the Ration Challenge. And it was where you would live, you would eat for a week what refugees ate. And obviously, the more money you raised, you got rewards. So you got rewards like salt and pepper, vegetables, protein, things like that. And it was fucking hard that you had to have like rice for 3 meals a day. And that was for a week. I'm like, shit. You know, I managed it, but it's like these people are having to do it every day. And then people are like, oh, they get given luxury houses. No, it doesn't work like that. But that's a whole rant for a different day.
yeah, it's like, well, tagging on to the back of that, I think this was like 4, maybe 5 years ago. I can't. An immigrant who recently came to this country. She was she was pregnant. She gave birth.
Yeah.
And then the government turned around and said that she needs to pay for her treatment. Which was about £10,000. This was an immigrant that recently came to this country. She had no money whatsoever, and they demanded that she paid. And it's like, if they're treating immigrants who have nothing, who fled to this country for a better life, and yeah, like you said, this could be another conversation for a different day. But it's like, if our government can't do that, then why do you assume or expect them to be any different? They're not going to be.
I mean, it's like, look at your doctors, your dentists, your nurses. Most of them are from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And if we didn't have them, let's face it, we wouldn't have that many doctors, because it's just, as we were saying earlier, the government is wanting to cripple the NHS and force us to go private. Not everybody can afford to go private. It's the same with dentists.
No.
I mean, my dentist alone, I have lost count since 2020 how many NHS dentists have gone. 5 times in 1 year, they cancelled my kids' appointments because NHS dentists kept going. Because they're not paying them enough.
No, they're not. And it's like, I have this opinion regarding the NHS being, left to basically rot. In my opinion, this has been the ever constant narrative for at least the past. I'll put it this way: it's been that way for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
The NHS has always been wanting full capacity for too long. It's been understaffed. It's underfunded. It's been turned into more clinical work, less time with patients.
Yeah.
Like, all the doctors and the same with the teachers are leaving because they're like, why the fuck am I doing this for? When I can move to a better funded school. Where I might not necessarily be paid more, but at least I'm paid equal to what I was being paid at my previous. And it's like, what are we doing?
Well, this is it. I mean, because I live in a block of 4 flats, and one couple that lived upstairs in on the other side, she trained to be a nurse. She went to work in the NHS. She then went private. She's now an aesthetics nurse because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then when you get people saying, teachers swan about during half terms. No, they don't. They have 4 weeks, like especially primary school teachers, have 4 weeks to rearrange the classrooms, sort out the books for all the kids for the next year. They're lucky to get 2 weeks off in the 6 weeks holidays.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like, teachers get all this time off. No, they don't. I mean, I can remember when I had appendicitis back in 2011 with what you were going to say about going on the back of what you were saying about doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
So from the April till the August, I kept having reoccurring water infections. But you know your own body. You know when something else is wrong. And the last visit that I went to, like the out of hours bit, the NEMS clinic or whatever they call it, before the nurse even did the dip test for my wee, I says, water infection. She's like, how do you know? So I told her the situation. I says, I know my own body. Something else is wrong. She went onto fucking Google to show me the symptoms of a water infection. It's like, bitch, I've been having these for the last few months. So this was on the Friday. I went back to the doctor on the Tuesday because I wasn't very well. And my doctor said, it's either gastroenteritis or an inflamed appendix. If it gets worse, come back. Next morning, I'm throwing up blood. So I'm straight to the doctors and they went, yeah, it's an inflamed appendix. But because I didn't present the atypical symptoms of appendicitis, they're like, oh, no, it's not that. It's this, that, and the other. I even had student doctors say to me, no, it's not. I'm like, but there's something else wrong with my body. I mean, that could have killed me if it wasn't picked up when it did. And it's like, it's because they're always made to rush. They don't have the time anymore to examine you properly. It's the same when you go, if you can get a GP appointment, you feel rushed or you get gaslit by your doctors. I mean, I've spent the last 4 years getting my adenomyosis diagnosis because so many doctors gaslit me. It wasn't until earlier this year when I saw an elderly doctor. He must have been, about 50s, 60s? And went through my symptoms because he was like, I don't know why you've been sent to the pain clinic. I'm like, no idea. But he listened to me, didn't gaslight me, gave me my treatment options. And he says, right, we'll get you back. I'll get you booked in with your previous gynecologist because she does hysterectomies, keyhole surgery. He goes, I do old slice and dice because I'm not a fan of keyhole. I'm like, fair enough. But it's the fact that I had a male doctor listen to me, whereas all the female doctors and consultants I've seen previously gaslit me or, oh, you should lose some weight. It's just IBS. Yeah. Don't you think I've been suffering with it since I was 13? It's not my fault. I had a negligent mother that when it came to my health, I just got told, oh, have some paracetamol and ibuprofen. And it's just like, it's so frustrating because so many people are having to fight for diagnoses and just to get seen. I mean, look at the right to choose. Because of the NHS's waiting list, they're fucking scrapping that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're willing to see people suffer because you don't want them to have the right to choose where they go to get their diagnosis from. It's,
It's like, that's why, like I say, that's why the vast majority of doctors who leave are now going private because they realise that they can make more money in a year in one day. It's like,
I mean, my doctor's GP, we had one doctor, she was amazing, Dr. Kursich. And when I went to my last appointment with her, she goes, I've got really bad news. I'm leaving. I'm like, you can't. Because she was the only doctor that would listen to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And she was the one who fought for me to get my diagnoses. Or diagnoses, whatever the word is. But yeah, she was the one that helped fight for me. You don't get many doctors like that anymore.
No, I had a female GP. She was awesome.
Yeah.
Every other negative experience I've had is with a male doctor.
See, mine's been female doctors. It's like, because as I mentioned before, with my BPD, that was diagnosed in 2007. Found out 2 years ago about my diagnosis. And I went to see the doctor that's supposed to be the mental health doctor at my surgery. And I asked about being referred to a psych for mood stabilizers. And she goes, no, you're far too high functioning. But what I will do is I'll refer you back to community mental health team, which I'd been referred to before, and CBT, we've had that conversation. And when I rang about it before, the receptionist says, oh, she never said that. And I says, yes, she did, because I remember there was a student doctor with her. It's like, I'm many things, but when it comes, I'm a stubborn bitch. But I'm many things, but I'm not a fucking liar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, why would I lie about that? I was like, and so I put it on. I was like, I'd never want to see her again. I never want any appointments with her. And they've done it. And I'm just like, because she was patronizing with it as well. She goes, oh, even if you were suicidal, it's a long wait list. It's like, just because I'm high functioning doesn't mean I'm not fucking dying inside. And I find I'm on my medication that I've had to go to the highest dose of to help me. Yeah, the side effects have been fucking gnarly. The only one that's left really, apart from the sweats, is the dreams. The dreams are amazing. They're so fucked up. It is hilarious. It's like the dream I had the other night was I dreamt a friend was pregnant and she finally got the home birth that she wanted, but because her husband was late from work, she didn't want him there. And then as I'm walking down the street, I see a guy that I used to work with, and then the house changed. Oh, it was just, and then that next thing I know, I end up in prison, and just I had a baby, and I was. Oh, it was because apparently I said something to a taxi driver, and that's what he wanted to press charges. And this is how you know it was a fucked up dream, because I asked for the Bible to read. I asked to read the fucking Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fucking dream. But it's just like, but the doctors say you're too high functioning. That's saying to an autistic person, you're too high functioning to get any help. It's like, just because they're high functioning doesn't mean they're not dying inside.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just, I don't fucking know. Like, that's, yeah.
I've had people say to me, I'll go private. Why? Are you going to fucking pay for it?
Exactly. People should not have to go private.
No.
It's actually the care they need.
I mean, it's like a girl I used to work with. She was massive. She was like a size 26, 28. She got her stepdad to fund her bariatric surgery because she couldn't be asked to lose the weight herself. And I'm just like, and her friend shared a post. She goes, "Oh, look at all the weight I've lost." It's like, no, that's the surgery you had. And I've got nothing against people having the bariatric surgery.
Yeah.
But she did it because she was lazy. Because it's like, even when we walk down from the office to the end of the street, she'd get out of breath halfway through. And like, clearly, it's an issue. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. But then she'd be sat fucking snacking and drinking full fat Coke and stuff at her desk. And then she wondered why she had a problem.
Yeah. People like that. Like, I'm glad that people can have that surgery, but it needs to be screened more, because there are certain people that don't have the mentality to change their diet, and it's like, it's all very well having the bariatric surgery, but you need to do the work. Yeah. If I go to a therapist, and then them giving you work to do, and then you blaming them because you want them to do the work for you. No, that's not how it works. Therapists aren't your babysitters. Yeah. You need to work it. Yeah. And it's like,
I mean, the amount of times I've gone back to the gym over the years, the only thing I found that helps me for losing weight is running. But and it's like, it's not that I don't want to run. It's it's either getting up before work, like 2 hours before I have to start, or do it straight after work. After work, I just want to chill. I know that sounds really lazy, but when I've been dealing with customers all day, it's building myself up to do it.
Yeah. I used to do that.
Yeah.
I used to go to a gym in town. Like school used to start at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So I used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'd go to the gym. I'd get to the gym for about 5. I'd stay there, have a workout. Then I would have a shower, get changed into my school uniform, and head to school. Then after school, I'd go back to gym, have a workout, then go home. I used to do that 5 days a week.
Yeah.
When I was at school. Now, nope. Like you, I'd rather go home, and have and rest.
Yeah.
Because I can't be fucked.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not just that, but especially because it's like, I know I've got fucking ADHD. it's just because my friend works for an ADHD, a private ADHD company. I'm like, do you have the right to choose from? And she was like, then they were like, yep, here you go. So I filled that in, and it's just like you, it's like, I can't be asked now. And it's like, I look at my middle kid and I'm like, where the fuck do you get all this energy from? Can I please have it? I'm like, I need some of this energy. But then it's like, there's sometimes where I do randomly get so fucking, it was like yesterday walking back from the shop, I was doing some weird noises and I'm just like, yeah, definitely got the herder. But it's just wanting that diagnosis for my peace of mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because obviously with ADHD in girls and boys, it's different. With boys, it tends to be more the hyperactive thing. They're not sitting still. Whereas with women, like for myself especially, it's the internalized ADHD. The thoughts going through my head 10 miles to the dozen, or whatever the saying is.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm constantly worried, like, oh, what if they don't like me? What if they don't like me? What if I say, and it's one of these things that I always worry if I say something and I'm then overthinking it. Oh, have I said something wrong? And then I go to that person. I'm like, just for my peace of mind, did I do or say something wrong? And they're like, no. So it's like, and they're like, why? And I'm like, because I feel like I, went about the wrong way. And they're like, no, you're fine. But I think because we have to mask, because girls, let's face it, girls are treated different to boys. Girls are treated like the princesses. And boys are treated like the little toe rags that they are, the little cheeky ones. Do you know what I mean? We have to mask. We have to be like constantly like, I'm too afraid to answer that question. I'm too afraid to do this or that because we're worried about because it's drilled into our heads that girls have to be prim and proper and this, that, and the other. And it's like, that's not me.
No. Yeah, it's like, that's me. I have like you, like 10,000 thoughts rolling around my head. Like, I'm sure, like, I haven't contacted my GP because I'll be amazed if I get a fucking appointment.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm sure I've got some form of ADHD.
Yeah.
Or ADD. Because I mean the amount of tangents I go on, and it's like you take, and unless, like, especially with my friend who I've been friends with for like 22 years, like I drive him nuts because we have a conversation, we have a discussion, and we have done that discussion for like maybe 10-15 minutes. And then I will go off on tangents, and then
you mean like we have been doing this podcast?
Yeah. And it's like, you, like drawing us back to the actual conversation. It's like, unless someone does that, I'll just continue. And it's like, it's probably partly the reason why there's so much fucking chaos on this podcast. But that's
what makes it fun.
Yeah. Exactly, and it's like we eventually get back around to it, but it may take us a while. But it's like today, like this article on the Daily Mail, updated today. Labour MPs have shown support for an activist group which promotes transgender Cinderella books to primary school children. Pop and Ollie, which visits classrooms to teach gender ideology, welcomed politicians to a parliamentary drop-in event, which it said was sponsored by Nadia Whittam, MP. The gathering included Labour MPs Kim Ledbetter, Paul Davies, Darren Paffy, and Foreign Office Minister Stephen Doherty. These 4 MPs posed for social media photos in front of the Pop and Ollie logo with a sign reading, "I support LGBT plus education." Last night, campaigners condemned their support for the group as hugely concerning. Pop and Ollie, which describes itself as an LGBT plus educational resource,
Mm-hmm.
tells children that sex is assigned at birth, which it is, and
Yeah.
gender can be seen as a spectrum, which it is.
Mm-hmm.
It has also produced a book aimed at primary schools, Jamie, a transgender Cinderella story featuring a
Mm-hmm.
girl who gets to dress as a boy called Jamie for a
Mm-hmm.
ball and win the heart of a princess. Poppin only distributes this and other books to schools and claims to have donated a total of 12,000 to 4,000 primaries.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so at least Nadia Whittam is doing the good thing.
Yeah. Honestly,
So
I
yeah,
adore that woman so much.
yeah. So do I. Where was it? Let me Lynch said a 9-year-old girl said during the session, "I feel like you feel. I don't fit into a box that everyone else seems to fit into. I don't like doing normal girl things. I like
Yeah.
football and wearing boys' clothes." So again, that's just another example of
Mm-hmm.
a 9-year-old girl, a child, telling a stranger they feel exactly like you feel.
Yeah.
They don't fit into a box. Because why? Why is that
Why
you
should
said?
you? Yeah.
Because sex isn't binary.
Yeah.
Like all of this fucking transphobic misinformation drives
Mm-hmm.
me absolutely insane. Because it's like, how have you got into a stage where you're completely farted out all of your fucking education, like your brain has basically popped out of your head
Mm-hmm.
and ran away because you're too damn fucking stupid,
Yeah.
and he'd rather off himself
Yeah.
because he doesn't have to deal with your crap anymore, and you're out here spouting, primary school level biology,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't even real biology.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, this
God,
is it. I mean, it's like that argument with the guy that you. Oh shit! That guy that you got in the debate with on Twitter. It's like he goes to me, he goes, "Oh, you're heterosexual because you've had kids." I'm like, there are non-binary people that have had kids. There are trans men that have had
mm,
kids. Just because I've had kids doesn't make me heterosexual. He goes, "But you said you're a woman." I'm like, "I'm a queer woman. It doesn't mean I fit in a typical. I don't see myself as gender fluid. I don't see myself as non-binary. I
no,
see myself as me. If
yeah,
there's days where I want to dress androgynous or masculine, who's just, why can't I? Or if there's days where I want to dress more feminine, why shouldn't I be allowed to do that?"
exactly, yeah, um, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, um, yeah, I think we pretty much said what we wanted to say.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so we're gonna leave it there because we've been live for just over 3 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, once again, we'd like to thank Rusty from Trans Kids Deserve Better for coming on
Mm-hmm.
um, for our discussion, which we
Yeah.
very much enjoyed. Um, I'll put all the links in the description down in the description to
Mm-hmm.
Trans Kids Deserve Better Instagram and their website, as well as any other links.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that will be that. We will be back next Tuesday,
Yeah.
where hopefully by then Max will
We'll be
have,
back to bless them.
we'll have her voice back.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I've just sent you the link for the binders as
awesome.
well.
I will put that in the description as well. So yeah, yeah. So thanks for listening, joining.
Yeah.
Let's say a quick hello to one of our haters who joined in the last one, Richie. He's been harassing the channel for the past 12 days, spewing his rhetoric. So
Fun.
hi Richie, if you're watching. I'm sure what we've said will piss you off again, but I don't care.
Poor Richie Boo Boo Bear. Did we hurt his feelings?
Yeah, because he's another one. Because he's like Paul. He's a nice everything.
Ew.
So have fun, Richie. Like, please do continue to harass me because it's only proving that you're stupid.
And you've got no life. He said.
Yeah, exactly. So just waving at you. Say hi. Welcome. Thanks for giving us airtime. But anyway.
Yeah, because obviously he doesn't realise the more he comments, the more he pushes the channel up.
Exactly. He's
actually doing us a favour, bless him.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, we will see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. UK time. Right. Bye, guys. Right.
Bye.
And.